Schmid, along with Armin Sari in the iHeart Megaplex. John Kuhn, your two-time Super Bowl champion, with all of us and you and the NicolaLaw.com talk and text line. A robust week of reaction to the weekend in the NBA playoffs. More reaction to, fellas, apparently a feisty Friday show that involved our guy Armin Sarian, John, little duking it out with some Giannis haters. I did not anticipate walking back into hearing that there were multiple Giannis haters, that Giannis had a 27-minute meeting with the media to parse through, not being very close, not really being as close as people thought. And apparently I've come in and find out that people weren't loving Giannis as much as what the heck happened on Friday that I had, and you guys had Armin fighting Giannis haters on these airwaves.
Armin will cape up and fight anybody. I mean, that's
fair, especially if it's about his athletes. Yeah,
that's protect my guys, man.
That's what he was doing. And quite frankly, I wouldn't say there were Giannis haters, but there were people, a lot of Niners that felt Giannis needs to be healthy. Giannis needs to find a way to not be oft injured when the playoffs come around. It has been several in a row that he's been, nagged by an ailment, and this one no different. And to come to find out that 1 to 2 weeks Shams originally reported was not even close. That he was not close to coming back. Those aren't, a doctor's words. Those are Giannis's own words. Not even close to coming back, and that is scary proposition. That means it was much worse than we thought. That means they took it very carefully with the future of the franchise being he and not risking that Achilles.
Yeah, and I mean, we were kind of on that after game one, right? Game one, and then I thought the other line of demarcation for it was game three. Once you realize that he was unable to be pulled out of the phone booth, so to speak, and unearthed on the Indiana Pacers, it's like, are you going to see him back? He's saying he's running 30 to 40%. It was a normal Giannis season ending. You'll learn a lot more about what happened and what had transpired throughout it. But a lot of times these end up being exclusive one-on-one interviews with Eric Name that we get a couple of weeks after. This is right after the season. Go speak at Fiserv Forum and in front of all the assembled media and lay it out on the table. I like the idea of Giannis being healthy. Like we should tell him to do that next year. That should definitely be the edict from the ownership of, hey, why don't you just be healthy next year? Like if that was
that simple, right?
If it was that simple,
it's that easy, just be healthy.
I love that idea.
Body. Yeah.
And maybe not have Bam Adebayo kind of undercut him last year and aggravate the back in game one. That might help as well. It's a losing argument. However, it truly does feel like there were other things that stopped the Bucks, that felt like they were prohibiting the Bucks from when I left here on Thursday from winning a game 6 and getting back for game 7 on Saturday night. We all knew that there were some bigger issues, but you don't get to fully understand how the meal was going to taste if the main course never arrives, right? And this was, again, where it feels like, yeah, we believed we knew what we were getting. Instead, they dropped off some not Palermo's frozen pizza. Like, what? I thought we were having Thanksgiving dinner here into the playoffs, and this is the stuff that you lay out in front of us. It's a difficult beast because you have to make some full-scale decisions here if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, but I don't know how what this whole roster and configuration was going to look like if you don't get the big fella in those biggest moments, John.
Well, I think now, Billy, the question is, all right, obviously we didn't get to see what the main course was, like you're talking about, but how do you get Giannis through a season and at the top of his game in the playoffs? Let alone what this team could have been this year, but Giannis himself, right? It's been several playoffs in a row, and freak accidents are going to happen. But when you're talking about a back and you're talking about a calf, right? Those are muscles. Those are generally fatigue injuries or overwork injuries. Heck, the Packers got a new strength and conditioning coach based off of soft tissue injuries, and that's what these are. And you got to find a way to get him to the end. We were talking last week, what number of games would be the appropriate number for Giannis to play throughout the season. Some people said 50. That would make him ineligible for all the award. How do you tell big fella, hey, you can't play for all NBA. You're only playing 50 games. We got to rest you for the other 32.
let alone what that's going to do to the potential for your next contract, right? Like that's
Sure.
the difficult part of the escalator clauses in there. And when he says, I'm willing to do anything to be there at the end of the season, anything for my teammates to be there at the end of the year. Well, this year felt like he had to do as much as ever. He played 73 games, which is the most that he's played since 2017, 2018, when he was 23 years old. His minutes load of 35 plus a night, same, most since his 2017, 2018 year. That was before his 2 MVPs
since he was 23. Most since he was 23. And we talked about that's probably what's going to change more than anything is the minutes load per game. That was too high this year. But it wasn't for a lack of wanting to be there, wanting to try to be there. It's just a matter of now how do they start managing this load to try and prevent injury to happen, right, guys? And that's the tough part is those things will happen. And it's tough for us to accept sometimes, I think, in life when we want everything to be controlled. But sometimes you can't control health. You can't control breaks. You can't control the way things happen like that. And unfortunately, Giannis has had to deal with injury at the worst time. Unfortunate for him, unfortunate for Bucks fans, unfortunate for the organization. And I know for him who wants to be out there in those times. And any thought otherwise was astonishing to me. And it's something I just would not even entertain. I wouldn't entertain, and I still won't. It's crazy to me that anyone thinks he's there because he doesn't have the desire, the toughness, the dedication, or some other nonsense that I was reading last week. So that's kind of where I came down on that situation.
Yeah, and I'd be there with you.
Still come down on it
as well. And he mentioned a large portion of it and had this cut from the Bucks PR staff, which also Bucks PR staff, social media work. Fantastic job on the use of the sad, dramatic violin as Giannis is just telling you just how difficult it was for him to not be able to be on the floor. That is Giannis again with a remarkable mix of sad, dramatic violin, courtesy of Bucks PR.
Bucks
letting you know
electro violin,
dude.
Bucks
I mean,
social media in the lab with that music.
You want to enjoy what that intern was sitting like. I'm going to get the tears flowing from Bucks fans at that moment, but I could feel what he's going through. You could feel the passion in his voice, John. And I can't speak for all fans. I understand people listen to and hear things differently than all of us do. But you hear that guy and you know how much it was breaking him to not be on the floor, but also love the fact of, man, sometimes you got to be a little bit lucky. I'm doing what I can for my body. Maybe I have to do a little bit more. Maybe this means not as many stacks of Oreos. Right? Like, I mean, there's always
It's, you have a good point
listen,
there.
we poke around on it for Zion Williamson for a number of times, right? Like you poke on it for all different ways of life. He's going to be 30 years old next year. He mentions changing some ways of his game. As difficult as it is at this exact moment, might be one of the better things for him. If you start realizing how you are going to age in the NBA, the way he plays, the ferocity as which he attacks the rim, maybe this is ultimately going to be one of the better things for his career and the longevity of it, realizing me just pushing harder and harder and playing the older and older I get is not necessarily the best way for me to help my team win a championship.
And it's funny that you say maybe the less Oreos. I mean, there's a scale of what your body can take and what your body can't take. And there's people that push it on one end. You talk about Zion Williamson losing 25 pounds. He cut out the Raising Cane's down there in New Orleans. Maybe he still stops and gets the chicken tenders, but he passes on the bread,
Yep.
A couple times a week if he's in there. Maybe the sweet tea gets passed to the side for some water instead. And then you have the other side, and I'm convinced this happens with athletes too. Those guys that push it so far on the other end, right? Like, I'm going to go no soy. I'm going to go no dairy. I'm going to
like Brady, right?
I'm going to go sugar free. Like so
no
far
strawberries
on that end, and that can really strain a body as well. I think there's a nice balance of, you can be too fit sometimes to play our sports, right? You can't be too fit to run a marathon, right? You can't be too fit to run 10 seconds in 100, but you can be too fit sometimes to play certain 82 games. It's a long season. And guys were able to do it back in the day, probably at a more easier clip and successfully play 82 games because they weren't at the peak of their body's athletic, level. Look at Jordan early on in his career, right? When he was a more slight frame and he was not so physically imposing. That's the way a lot of guys were back then. And now everything is getting pushed down to an end where it's bigger, faster, stronger. And sometimes, when you go so far to that extreme, your body's doing things that it can't do for 82 games. Now it can only do it for, in 82 games at 40 minutes a game, right?
Yeah.
It's there's a fine line there.
Well, that's true. Those guys, a lot of those guys also played shorter careers than guys do now. And I think that's a big factor too. Guys came out of college back then at 21 or 22 and didn't play past mid-30s much. And their effectiveness waned quickly. So there is a flip side to that. And then you look at Giannis and you say, this guy's an Adonis. So our instinct, our rationalizing doesn't think to ourselves, well, his body's a problem, right? Because you see Zion, that's a different. He looks like he's a bigger guy, and then you see Giannis, he looks like an Adonis. So you're thinking to yourself, there's no problem there. So I go back and forth between like, okay, well, I hear what he's saying, and yeah, maybe adjusting is like only he knows that. Like, are the few Oreos really what's getting him these calf strains? Like, is that really? But you never know. I mean, a guy like LeBron who takes meticulous care of his body, cryotherapy every night.
He's sitting over here drinking wine, just getting hammered on weekends. So no kidding, he's sitting home after the first.
But he's never had a serious injury, really. Is that because of luck? Maybe a little bit. Is that because of how he contains his body? I think it's part of both, right? So I think you have to try and be honest with yourself, do what you can. Sounds like Giannis is willing to do whatever he thinks he can, but he also has that struggle with, but I know I do those things anyway. I mean, maybe he has cookies and stuff, but is that, I don't know. I can't tell. I can't sit there and say, well, he had a soleus strain and he had this ligament issue because of the
stop
cookies.
The double stuff.
It's hard for me to really accept that rationally, but now the other part of it might be more true with how I play the game. And then that's the
absolutely
thing.
Is more true.
And then you have to ask yourself,
that one wasn't dripping with sarcasm.
Would you be okay with that? Because I don't think I am, because that's what makes him great. And I don't really want you to adjust your game too much.
Oh, I think he has to adjust his game.
Yeah, but what if he stops? What if it prevents him from being as dominant as he could be? You know what I mean? What if it's his great superpower, how he plays? That's what's tough for me.
But you don't think his ability to get the ball inside of 15 feet in today's NBA, that he won't be as effective? That he still won't be able to power through people if he doesn't have to initiate that offense 35 feet away?
He'll be effective. He'll be an effective player on both ends. But you can't. I guess what I'm wondering is that when he says adjust my style play, is that like going 100% all the time, like crashing to the glass, crashing to the rim, crashing? Because that's a lot of that wear and tear is what probably is what risks injury.
Yeah,
more.
and I hear that, John. I don't necessarily hear the lacking of effort, right? Not going 189%. That the only way he knows how every single moment that he's on the floor, but maybe just being more open to adjusting where he gets the basketball, where he initiates offense, where he starts. Maybe that's where the adjustment to the game for a lot of us could see him move forward and prolong his career, because you just driving right into dudes' chests.
Sure.
The way he does right now, that doesn't have 25 a game at 39 like LeBron's doing right now written all over it.
The game is just so much different. It's more wide open than it's ever been. There's more full court basketball than there is half court basketball. And what makes Giannis so much fun is what makes him so dangerous. You remember watching Kobe and Jordan? Yeah, I mean, they could go, and they were always, it was a controlled pace, right? They found their spots, and it was a controlled pace. And it wasn't like they had to go a million miles an hour to be able to get up and down the court. Giannis is, man, he has that RPMs up in the red line at all times. And yeah, you do got to wonder if that's what amazes us when he plays. That's what's so fascinating to watch, and that's what we love watching. But if what makes him so great also makes him so susceptible to injury, you have to find a way to put a governor on him.
Well, and then you got guys like Frank, who on the talking text line says, when are you going to mention steroids and supplements as the real body culprits that probably 90% of these athletes are using? Well, Frank, that's a remarkable generalization to then still put probably on. If you're firmly in that camp that you believe that's happening, then say it 100% true. But it's not, so you can't. That's the best part. That's the best part. Just blanket it with the asinine thought of, well, probably 90% of them are using all this kind of stuff. What? Whey protein? Is that what we're talking about? Oh, God, that supplement is just killing people. Just like cigarettes and beer, as John was talking about as the post-workout for the guys in the 80s was so tremendous for human bodies.
What it is, and this goes to football too, just like it goes to basketball. It was more about practicing. You're on the field, you're on the court, than it was about training. Now training has gone to a whole new level. Why? Because everybody wants to jump higher, be stronger, be faster. And with that, then you have to limit what you're doing on the court or on the field. Because when your bodies are conditioned that way, you talk about football shape, you talk about basketball shape, and then there's training shape where your body is at its peak level. And athletes today tend to want to be more at peak level. And that takes away from the basketball and the football shape. And that's where the hamstrings and the calves and all the other things.
You played 3 sports, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, and you mentioned it. There was a different shape that you were in come basketball season than when you were getting ready for football season or when you were in the middle of track season. And we stress it all the time with different young athletes. And I'm a huge proponent of it, that you cannot specialize at such a young age because you don't necessarily learn all the other parts of your body and work out all those other muscles to alleviate some of those stresses, John, of just like understanding there's other stresses that your body is going to get put under, and that training one specific way to get yourself to that peak performance, you're leaving yourself susceptible to a lot of different stuff, especially at such a young age for some of these players.
When I would get out of football season, we'd go right into basketball season, and I would die for the first 3 weeks on the court. Sure. And then I would get out of basketball season to go to track, and I would die for the training. I would die at training for track. And then we get out of track and go into football, and I die on the football field. It's like, how does every one of these sports have a different type of shape that it takes your body to be in?
It's remarkable.
And great players in basketball in the NBA now play better and longer at their peak longer than any other era in the game. Except Kareem's the only exception. And guys are playing almost 20 seasons now at that, the great ones, I'm saying. So there's just no comparison. Look it up if you don't believe it. You can go through guys' careers and you can say, wow, great player. I remember him playing more than 10 years. Now, if you're a great player, you've got to play 15, 20 years.
Oh, at least.
That's just the way it is. To keep that peak performance, it's just different than it used to be in mostly every era. There are exceptions, of course.
I just see John in high school basketball coach, fresh off of a all conference season, putting up, 20 some touchdowns. Hey, I thought you were running fast in football.
Yeah.
Sucking wind 27 minutes into basketball practice. Coach, calm down over here.
Diet basketball. I didn't understand it because I'm telling you, football, you're at 110, like for 5 seconds. And then you jog back to the huddle, walk back to the huddle. Basketball, you're just going at like 80% most of the time.
Yeah. In
But
the
you
middle of
would
those
die.
suicides, just cooking.
Die.
A lot more running.
Oh my God. Hands on the knees, just sucking wind. Hey, Coon, thought you were in shape.
Right.
We're going to get you in shape right now. Well, we're going to get everyone in shape right now.
Worst thing at basketball practice, no doubt. The drill at the end where you got to jump and touch the backboard as many times as you can in a minute. And then you get a minute rest. And then you do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a minute rest. And then you do it again. By the end of those, you were just toast.
I always just hated when it depended on how many suicides you were running, and then they bring out Armin to shoot, 10 free throws, and every one that he misses, you're doing a free throw, half court, free throw, end line and back.
I hated that. That did happen to me. Armin's going to shoot now. See if you guys
see how much you guys are running.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you putting the pressure on me? And you don't even let me suit up for this type of pressure. I hated that.
But you never crack under the pressure.
I made a lot of them, but I missed some too.
Instead, it became an absolute
terrible.
diamond right over here. Armin, sorry. And I'm Billy Schmidt. John Coons with you as well at the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 414-799-1973. A lot of great reaction to this. How do you keep Giannis healthy? How are you able to alleviate this health strain that's locked up the Bucks the last couple of years into the postseason? We'll get into that. And one guy that's not locking up in the postseason, one guy that's excelling differently than many have as well, Anthony Edwards. We'll get into that conversation, as well as some Brewers conversation. And is comedy back? That's hour 2. It's 9 to noon on The Game. 9 to noon on the game. Billy Schmid, John Kuhn, Armin Sarian with all of you. 414-799-1973 is the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Trying to find a way to keep Giannis healthy. How do we get him to the postseason healthy? Well, could fire the training staff like the Green Bay Packers did. Well,
that always works.
That didn't keep the head coach healthy. Goodness gracious. Matt LaFleur confirming he's tearing his pec, John. When you see this guy at the club, we gotta have a conversation with him, man.
This guy,
he's got to learn where he's at.
He needs to get healthy, man. What is going on? I mean,
no, he's got to figure out he's getting old, John. My man is getting old. Matt LaFleur is getting old. We can't be doing these. We can't be doing this. We can't be blowing our Achilles out on the basketball floor. We can't be popping our pec underneath an incline bench machine or whatever he was doing.
You hear that? Billy's saying you can't lift that for 44.
Well, I need to know how much he's lifting, Armin. Why is
what are we maxing out for at this age, John?
How do you know he maxed out? Maybe he just come on, he's 44. He can't lift. I don't like this energy.
It's not
you
what I
guys
mean.
are always telling me to lift weights more. You can't just do cardio, Armin. And now
obviously, obviously we're dead serious about this. Matt LaFleur shouldn't touch a weight. It doesn't. Listen, we're goofing off here.
I
it
know.
doesn't matter.
The sarcasm taste is not hitting for Armin.
It's dripping.
It doesn't matter if Matt LaFleur is injured yet again as a head coach of the Green Bay. It does not matter. All that needs to matter is his brain and his mouth. Can he talk into the headset so that the quarterback hears it clearly enough that he can echo it to the offense before they go to the line of scrimmage?
I mean, I don't know how these players are going to look up to him at this point now that he can't even bench press without popping a pec. Like, I mean, how are these players going to react to him?
How are they going to not? He's in the trenches like them. He's in the weight room just like them. He's going through what they're going through.
Is Andy Reid in the weight room just like them? Is Andy Reid in the trenches just like them?
Thank you.
Well,
Bill Belichick ain't doing any of this. You saw him roller skating at the Randy Moss thing. He could barely get around the rink one time.
Here you guys
That's
go
all
again.
I want.
All right, here we go again with the Andy Reid, Bill Belichick example. All right, yeah, I get it. These guys. So we should do everything that Andy Reid does. Everybody get 19 cheeseburgers a day.
Was Vince Lombardi ever on the blocking sled? No, he was standing on the platform, blowing the whistle, saying, "Let's roll, fellas." He wasn't in there. I can do this same thing. Come on, we gotta work smarter, not harder.
That was yes, but that's
smarter.
Well, if he was not close to their age, though. I mean, I'm not saying a 60-some-year-old man should do.
Well,
this.
I just want to. How do you prefer your coaches? Do you prefer your coaches jacked and running around with sweat dripping off their bald heads like Robert Saleh?
Campbell?
Do Dan Campbell?
I don't need that.
Or do you like your coaches fat and lovable and goofy and with walrus mustaches? How do you like your coaches?
Yeah.
Or do you like them just weird? Like
John,
Nathaniel?
I like my coach coming in, smashing watermelons, wearing a big old trench coat on the sidelines, talking about a program. All right. I want to know what our program is doing and how close we are to winning a championship. I don't need to know how close you are to your max bench as to what you were doing junior year of high school. I don't need to know how your CYO team was doing and that you can still put up 18 a game if you get checked in. Come on.
I think I figured it out. What you guys want is someone that does it if that's authentic to them. You want a coach that's authentic. And you don't like when Campbell.
Matt LaFleur is authentic.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely authentic.
He's injury prone. That's very authentic.
So I'm saying when
he's got nothing artificial in him, or he wouldn't be getting hurt, right?
But when
Megan Franklin,
we got to get some more artificialness into him. Then maybe we won't have these issues.
I think if Dan Campbell does it, everyone's into it because that's like what Dan Campbell does, right?
Listen,
but Matt LaFleur is a quarterback, and quarterbacks aren't trying to max out the bench press
we don't
room.
Need that.
That's right.
Quarterbacks don't lift when they're playing.
No,
that's what I'm
saying.
John,
who lifts more, the quarterbacks or the kickers?
That's tough.
Well, kickers do their own workouts.
But there
some jacked up kickers.
But punters, kickers, no. Punters, yeah. I've seen John Ryan and Thomas Morstead were two of the more jacked, and they didn't look jacked because they were smaller build guys, but pound for pound, some of the strongest guys I ever played with, punters. Yeah.
Because they have lower body strength, right? So they can do those squats and lifts. And
I'm talking about pull-ups. John Ryan could do 100 pull-ups, no problem.
I'll see.
No
that.
And
problem.
probably rocking a bandana while he was doing it, laughing, no socks, no shoes, no problem. Just some of the strangest cats, but some of the most in shape. Matt Jr. said, how many reps did Holmgren or McCarthy ever do in the weight room?
I don't know, John.
Great question.
Maybe Mac did some reps.
Championship coaches. We didn't need them going in here and repping 225, John.
Coach Mike would get on the treadmill from time to time.
That's what I'm talking about.
From time to time, yeah.
Let's get him
That's about it.
Get him a treadmill. Get him a Stairmaster. Right? Come on, get the Stairmaster rolling as we're going 3.5. I think that's good. We can get a Peloton in there and it'll be okay. We don't need to be stressing ourselves.
So I think we want guys to do the workouts that befit them, like the bands, like the arm bands and stuff like
Totally.
that.
Get some resistance bands in that room.
I just need to know, does Matt LaFleur not follow the new guidelines of warming up with this new strength and conditioning coach? Did he not warm up properly? Did he go straight to his heavy sets when he blew this thing out? Did he not warm up right?
Yeah, didn't do the 20-minute warm-up that Rob Domofsky was talking. 20-minute warm-up, John. 20-minute warm-up for the Packers at rookie camp. This is how we're going to keep those soft tissue injuries out of 1265.
20-minute warm-ups. How are we going to do that before the
Well,
game?
bad
There's not
start.
enough time in pregame for that.
Bad start for the soft tissue. Rough start for the soft tissue.
Yeah, it's not a great start. Not a hot start up there at 1265 but this is also how his career started in Green Bay. I cannot get over the fact that he was on the job for maybe a week and a half and popped his Achilles playing basketball. There are moments where we have to tone it down a little bit and say,
those basketball
I'm going to keep
games
looking good.
Those basketball games will get hyped, though. Those basketball games used to get turned.
Sure,
Coach Mack wasn't getting in there, was he?
No, Coach Mack wasn't, but some of the coaches would come down and the personnel department would be there. All the scouts would be down there grinding it out, going hard. Tim Terry, a former NFL player, was one of our scouts at the time. He used to run the floor. He used to crush him in that gym. And those are some of the more fun games to watch or be a part of.
It's another
right. You can't turn the competitive juices off once you get in there.
No, well, that's why you don't get into the arena, because
Right.
you know the juices are going to start flowing.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
I like the arborist. Will the torn pec affect his ability to wave his arms up and down and get people hyped during the game? Well, listen, if it's only one side, so we can keep the one side, come on, which is got to be my favorite Matt LaFleurism. Just come on, let's go. Let's get loud. What are we doing? Look back. Come on. Fire everybody up in there. And as long as it's not the right pec, we should be okay, because he's more of a right arm come on guy. He likes to hold the play sheet in his left hand.
Sure.
These are the important things that we watch while we're up
Right.
in the press box, necessarily with Doug Russell's binoculars.
And I'm disappointed it took so long for someone on the text line to make that joke. To connect the torn pec with the wave, with the get him fired up thing. It's pretty funny though.
A lot of eyebrow conversations as well here onto the talking text line for Coach Matt LaFleur. Pack is a tough deal, but the strength and conditioning coach, serious conversation. Keep Giannis healthy. Start warming up longer, John. And maybe that's how we get here. Warm up longer.
Longer warm-ups.
When are we going to start talking about LaFleur being injury prone? That's what all I know.
The incredible. Oh, we already are.
Yeah.
No, LaFleur is injury prone.
As Red Hot Tim Knott says, Matt LaFragile.
414-799-1973. Hey, Cody and Franklin, at least LaFleur isn't putting himself in even more danger, pulling a Joe Mazzulla and trying to go and contest shots. We don't need him being behind one of these arm pads trying to, hold off some offensive line drills. No, we don't need to be doing that. Just enjoy the coaching, see what's happening, and let's assess and win some football games. The Packers are on to their rookie mini camps as well, as closer and closer to mandatory mini camp in about a month from right now. It's 414-799-1973, the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. It's 9 to noon statewide on the game. Anthony Edwards' arrival similar to that of many greats. Are you buying that hype? And are you buying that we can now make fun of each other again? Tom Brady's roast last night has some people believing comedy is back. Maybe in the sports sense, we can play none of it, but we can talk about it all with you on 9 to noon. I like where we're at here on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Brian in Milwaukee. Are we actually onto something here? Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. Maybe these young coaches are spending way too much time working out, staying in shape when they need to be eating chips, watching tape. Without looking into any more stats, I'm going to go all the way on this theory and that fat guys win. Now let's go have a damn snack, as Rex Ryan would say. Yes. This is what we're doing, John. We're not out here doing Pilates. I'm not shopping the new Lululemon sale here for my pants. I'm getting myself a nice Kansas City barbecue, some burn ends, and a burger, and trying to win some championships.
More than that, fat guys are just more fun.
Can't pull fat.
No offense to skinny guys out there.
Yes.
I like all. Hey, I appreciate all guys, all nooners of size and shape out there. But fat guys are more fun. Let's be honest. They drink more. They eat more. They just they don't
generally more lovable.
They don't give a rip more. Like they're just more fun to be around.
And
Fair
John,
enough.
it was actually one.
Look at Armin. He's all like,
what can I say?
You never got fat.
You're making great points.
I think we throw 40 pounds on you, and your humor level goes through the roof.
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate that.
People love Lyman.
Yeah. It's one of the things. It's one of the things that my fiance asked me when I started working with Milwaukee Weight Loss. She goes, "You're not going to get like weirdly skinny, right? Where you're no longer fun, right?" Yeah. Like no,
Joe Thomas.
I don't think that I can get. I don't know that I'm getting to Mike Wall status, right? Where I mean, like he is like super thin.
Joe Thomas.
I'm not trying to go that side.
Joe Thomas. I know. I hear what you're saying.
But those guys are also jacked too. Like they're
a
lot skinnier than when they played, but they're also super jacked still.
So
I mean, built phenomenally. Mike Wall and Joe Thomas, they're built phenomenally. So I'm not going to knock out. But hey, when you started losing, I thought the same thing, Billy. I thought the same thing.
You don't want to go Jonah Hill style.
You lost a lot of weight, and I was I'm like, man, I'm proud for him. But damn, I'm also kind of sad.
Don't be weird.
Sad. I wasn't worried about it.
Weird.
I thought the DNA, the soul of what you were, is still going to stay the same. I mean, you might drop some, but you're still a big guy at heart. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I wasn't worried.
Still a definite fat. I mean, like you walk around with some cinnamon rolls in front of me, like that's still gonna be a game changer. It's still gonna change. That has not changed. That part, that innate trait has not changed. Unlike John Kuhn, the man that I'm pointing at here inside the Iron Jack Studios, Armin Sarian, dude's changing right in front of us.
Oh, me?
Changing right in front of us. So if you've been listening to 9 to Noon for a long time, long before I joined the Nooner clan, you would know that this is maybe the most frugal human being in the state of Wisconsin.
Josh. No, it's Josh.
Second most frugal human being in the state of Wisconsin, right?
I like to save money if I can. It's a value play for me.
Yes. It's a good thing to be frugal, Armin. Congratulations. It's a compliment.
I take it. No, I take it as we used to say, balling on a budget. That's what we used to say, you know.
But apparently you're just balling here in May. Apparently May is big baller month because my man walks into the break room, goes, "I'm switching to water." Now, generally here in Wisconsin, that means too drunk. Too drunk.
Yeah. No, from
9:40 in the morning, Armin says, "I'm switching to water." Damn, I knew you had a long night last night. I didn't know it was like that.
Couldn't sleep well. So, I had the coffee, but I'm like, you know what? It's time to hydrate.
Switching to water.
Okay, sounds good, right?
Sounds good. Sounds like a good, healthy decision to make. My man walks right over to the case and buys a $1.49 bottle of water while I'm filling up with the beautiful hydration station that John is 2 steps from where my man is checking out.
Yeah, we do get free water.
That bubbler is that's a nice bubbler.
It's amazing.
Right. It's a nice, it filters. It's got even a little blue light. So it feels like you're
lets you know if it's good or not.
Right. You can get hot water too out of that.
You better believe it.
I'd never do it, but yeah.
No, I've done it. You can get
do the David Bakhtiari room temperature water if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to
drink. If you wanted to do that.
Water.
Cups and bottles galore all in front of you. And my man's buying stuff. Now, this is before he is becoming a father. Like, I don't know why he is changing his soul this close to the most important time of his life, John. I'm kind of concerned for him.
Yeah. I mean, I buy water too. Okay. So I don't know what to say.
Well, depending on the situation.
Did you guys ever have, here's one for you. Did you ever have the liquid death water out of a can?
I've seen that. I've never
wanted to, but I'm not cool enough.
It looks cool, right? It's like just water, but it looks like an intense beer can.
I just don't think I'm cool enough. To me, it's like earrings at this point. I just don't know I'm cool enough.
So I had always seen these things at the gas stations, and I always thought they were like some sort of either Monster Energy or a Four Loko, like something you definitely should not be drinking. With
Warning
the name,
label on it.
with
Yep.
the name Liquid Death.
That
But
was
this
the
is
thing.
apparently just fresh water from the Alps.
That's it.
Is what this is. And I saw a couple trendy people drinking these trendy drinks. So I wanted to try one. I'm going to try one of these. And I got dogged out. Lindsay and my mom. Oh, Grammy was, I can't believe you bought water. You bought water?
You
bought
the same way.
water. The one thing you never buy, you don't buy water.
Right.
I said, I wanted to try this one specific water. I've seen a lot of people that are health nuts drinking this Liquid Death, which does not sound like the right name, for a water, but that's exactly the name of it. It comes in like a 16-ounce can.
Looks
And
cool as hell.
Lindsay was down in Kohler at one of those frou markets, and which and every time she goes down, it's like, okay, hit me up when you find out they got the they got the good vermouth down there. They got the good cheeses down there. She's gonna bring back some good stuff. They got the liver pate that she brought back, Armin. They got good stuff at this market.
Good stuff, right?
And she's taking pictures of the things and asking if I want them. I said, yeah, and grab me that Liquid Death. What do you want? Yes, just grab me the Liquid Death. Pissed. I can't believe you bought water.
Yeah.
Can't believe
you guys know me. I have a philosophical aversion to buying water, especially when it's like $6 or whatever at the game. But I'm gonna say
you went on an hour-long tirade about the price of water at Brewers game.
Well, yeah, but this is the 20-ounce. All right, and I can refill it. All right, the real reason is, and Laura already texted me, why didn't you use the water bottle I got for you? It's been I haven't washed it in a while, and I was like,
you've already gotten hit up.
Well, I haven't really washed it in a while. I was a little weird. I was like, the thing's been sitting
water
there.
Cup. What do you need to wash? Water.
Thank you. He brought this up to me, and I didn't know if I was the sicko.
No, you're right.
Do you really wash out a water cup? You rinse it out and pour more water into it.
Well, I'm not a germaphobe either, but Laura's got me more of a germaphobe than I used to be because she kind of can be that way sometimes.
You're placing blame here.
I shouldn't do that.
Time
You're right. I shouldn't be
deflecting
doing that.
over here.
Oh man, I shouldn't be doing that.
Especially because she's listening.
She already texted me. Why didn't you use
awesome.
the water? But here's the thing: I'm going to refill this at least 4 times with the free water.
At least 4 times.
I'm going to try.
How about you chug it right now and finish it for the YouTube audience?
I'm not chugging the water and finishing it for the YouTube audience
because you can't. He just took one big gulp.
He tried. He was going to attempt it and then realized this is not my game. This is you and Billy's game.
I'm never getting that one. I'm never getting that $1.50 back either. Never getting that $1.50 back.
His eyes got so big as he tilted the water bottle back and just
he was going to try.
You guys, it was an impulse decision that now I wish I could take back because I can never get that $1.50 back. If I invested that $1.50 into a moderately performing growth mutual fund, compounded quarterly for the next 30 years, my child might be able to go to Marquette. Okay.
Oh no!
Oh well.
No. Instead,
it's over.
It's
over.
Wow.
Driving Uber now for the rest.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to start driving Uber to make the money back.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to get a second job.
Yeah.
Maybe you should host a trip or something. Maybe get some money back for that.
Hey,
Goodness gracious!
I'm taking any and all opportunities now. All right.
Well,
guys.
that was a remarkable end to hour 1. I don't know how we're gonna back that up into hours 2 and 3. I know we're coming back with is going to be a big hitter into hour 2. Because apparently comedy is back. And apparently JJ Watt might be coming back. One of those is a joke. Actually, both should be, but one might not be. We'll explain coming up on the other side. It's John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Armin Sari. It's 9 to noon on the Game. Glad to do an hour 2 here on the game. Love being here on a Monday. I'm not going to say I'm like Mike Heller where I just love Mondays, but fired up to be in here today.
Well, we're glad you're back. And I can't believe we spent a whole hour on here and we haven't asked how Disney was. This was
It was
your
hot.
This was your inaugural Disney trip, right?
Oh no. I've been lucky enough to be brought to Disney World a number of times by
Okay,
my
but as
my
a
lovely
parent.
no, again, we went there last year when we got engaged
You
in
got
June.
engaged there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is probably like the 4th time that the little guy's been there. It's the second
Oh
time
my gosh.
second time I've been there with the little guy.
Yeah,
I was so
Yeah,
far
yeah.
off
Oh,
on
yeah.
this. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
amazing. So you are a
Oh yeah.
seasoned Disney World parent vet.
Oh, it's yeah, definitely. I've gotten
Well, you say
plenty.
it so happily.
Well, no, because it is. It's a really good time, and I think I there's a couple of different ways. My Vegas is my fiance's Disney.
That's the best way to put it, right? I think the best way to put it.
So I have learned to really like some
Okay.
stuff about Disney because
So-
there's food, drink.
So time, I'll pause.
Yeah.
If your Vegas is her Disney World, she's been 4 times and you've been with her twice over that same span. How many times have you been to Vegas? How many times have you been to Vegas with her?
June last year we went together pretty much that was like 2 years ago. That was when we just found out we were having the little guy. So within the last year, I was there in October. And then I was there in June last year. So 3 times in the last year. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you
So
go
pretty
to
close.
Vegas.
Yep.
And she's been with you how many times to Vegas over that time?
Once.
She has not been
Once.
there with me over that, but she'll be with me at the end of the month when we get married there.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, so there
Yep.
you go.
Pretty
4
good.
times, 4 times and 4 times. You know, she's 25%, you're 50% at Disney. Yeah, fair little ratio you
Mhm.
guys got going.
Yeah, and that's where, I love how much she loves it. So I'm in this boat where I'm not trying to ruin anybody's time, right? I am not going to be the turd in the punch bowl. But your boy is cooking out there, right? Like, I mean, it is John, you've been there a number of times. You've chased the little ones around there. You've seen dads just fighting it. Luckily, our little guy is just starting to get opinionated, right? Just starting to say, I ain't doing that. All right, I'm taking a nap in there. Or you're carrying me because I'm not sitting in that seat again. So like that's where we're at. I'm watching people chase around and dads pulling their hair out and relationships being tested pretty much every 20 to 40 feet. Some wild people watching that you get there into the 90-degree heat.
It's up there.
Walt Disney
I
World.
would think that's like elite people watching situations, right? Elite.
Oh my
I
God.
would think, yeah.
And then I'm walking around on Friday morning. I'm like, who is this dude that's wearing a full Bethune-Cookman tracksuit?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I mean, full zipped all the way up to the beard.
yep.
It was Nick Collins.
Nick
Oh, yeah.
Collins in the
Nick-
house.
Nick- just
You gonna say
chilling.
what's up to him?
I missed him. I was
Oh.
walking and I was trying to walk back. I was like, we're going. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Hold on, magic coordinator. All right. I am keeping with the pack. But he is just sitting there. He's got a drink in one hand, big old tray worth of food in the other, just enjoying the heck of a day, sweating beyond belief. There's no way he wasn't in that 90-degree heat, though.
He was born down in that heat.
That's
He's
true.
acclimated. Don't you worry
That's
about
fair,
the guy.
yeah.
He is acclimated to that heat down there.
So
Awesome.
it was a heck of a time. It's
Did
an
you meet up
expensive
with-
trip, though.
Did you meet up with Josh and what's
No, I you know what?
I heard
I'm-
this was controversial, the meetup
Oh,
thing.
was it? No, I missed the magical meetup there for at Walt Disney World with the morning boys.
Because John got the picture with Butch, or Josh, I mean, and I know he wanted, think he wanted all you guys, right, to be in the picture together, and you stiffed him, or you give him the Heisman? Is that what it was?
Damn, I Heisman.
I don't know. Is
Yeah,
that
we were
true?
at a different spot. We were at the Epcot location, which is a
Yeah, you're not there.
massive property. We
Yeah.
were not over by the castle where, listen, that's where their magic was going down. I would have loved to see Butchie try to cram himself into one of those rides, though. Like, that was all I kept thinking of when I saw that picture of them is, how is this dude fitting on It's a Small World? Like, there's no way. How is he fitting in one of those little shells riding around one of those rides, John? There's just no way.
So ironic, right? Because he that's how he sees the world, right? With everybody being smaller. That's the irony of it. And yeah, you would think that there's a lot of rides he can't ride because he's too tall. Now I had the opposite problem growing up, like going to
I
Great
can't fit in
America.
all of them because I'm too fat.
Right,
So
so
I
the
mean,
thing-
like, there's plenty of them that you can't work.
See Butch
I
walking up.
can't fit in the rides. I cannot fit in the rides at Disney World.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. That's where I was good.
I love
pushing
them. I
the stroller.
shove myself in there and
Mhm.
I push that bar down and I push it down and then I finally get that first click. And then I try to get a second because I think to myself, you don't want to be on the last click because
Yeah,
you
you
don't
don't wanna
have
be
a
one.
safety. You don't have
Sure.
a safety valve click. You
Mhm.
got to at least get 2 clicks. And then I push it down one more time. I usually got to kind of wiggle and like arch my back
So
a
like an-
certain way. I get that second click. So I know I'm in there safe now because I got the click that's holding me in. And then if that one happens to release because I might potentially only have it half clicked, then I got the second click, the first click to actually save me if this ride's going too fast.
Yeah, and then like when the worker comes by and pulls on it real quick, I'm not going to get outed because if he yanks that thing and I was only on one click, then I know I'm not riding this thing. I'm getting right off of it, and that's going to be sayonara for me.
You ever get a little nervous right before it starts that they didn't do it right? I remember riding rides, especially being younger, and like, man, if this guy just did a quick flyby on mine and it's not clicked in right, and I'm like, this could be it for me.
I was horrified of roller coasters when I was a kid.
Horrified. Me too.
Okay, so where all did you go? You went to Epcot, you went to Disney,
Went to
World.
Epcot, went to
Magic Kingdom.
no, we didn't go there. We
You
went
do
to
Animal Kingdom?
Animal Kingdom
Hollywood
nice.
Studios?
and Hollywood Studios.
Did you ride the Avatar ride at Animal Kingdom?
I did not know. No.
People
Didn't
are
didn't
talking
do a
about
whole
that.
lot of rides.
That
We
ride,
honestly just
believe it
ate
or
a
not,
bunch.
doesn't go anywhere, but it's scary as all. I mean,
Oh damn.
I was on that ride with my youngest, and when the wall goes away, you are 8 stories in the air, and this thing locks your legs into the ride because it shifts you all around. And the whole time, I didn't even watch the ride. I just looked over to the side to watch my youngest daughter make sure that those clamps held her in there and she didn't go falling
Yeah.
down 7 stories.
Yeah.
That wigged me out.
Oh my God. No, I faced my fear when we went one time and I went on the Tower of Terror. Boy just does not being this large. I'm always concerned, even if that latch is clicked, I'm going to bust out of that thing.
So you did do Tower of Terror?
Yeah, I did do that one.
That one's gnarly too.
That's wild. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that is a wild situation, especially when you wake up the next morning and you look across from the hotel and you're like, wait, I can see it from here. That shows that was way higher up than I had anticipated being yesterday. And that's saying something for me, right? I mean, because I'm always concerned. I'm always thinking that I'll probably be a little bit higher than most. This hour of the show is brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. Need anything for your hemp products? Shop locally. Don't go shopping at the gas station buying something you don't necessarily know. Go to happyplacehemp.com. Use promo code Billy, BILLY. Get 25% off CBD, CBN gummies, Delta 8, Delta 9s. Those are recreational. Everything else you can enjoy daily. And the muscle creams is something that I'm utilizing this weekend because, John, more than anything, the hamstrings and soleus muscles were feeling it this
Yeah.
weekend because
oh yeah, big
well,
walk for you. How many miles a day?
like 13.
Perfect.
Get those
That's
steps
a,
in.
That's a good number, man.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
Yeah, we were cooking through that.
What was
thing
your
pretty
favorite
well.
food? Did you get a turkey leg?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, your boy got a turkey leg. Turkey leg, caramel corn. I was eating everything.
Churro?
Anything in sight.
Well,
I
then
didn't-
you
I
loved
didn't do churro.
Epcot then.
Yeah,
Ooh, man.
absolutely.
It's Epcot. I can't make it one whole time around that lower lake. You go one time around that lower lake. I mean, it's
It's wraps.
It's like 10 beers and tacos and Bavarian
Yeah.
pretzels and some sort of shawarma. I mean, it's
Mhm.
everything, Armin.
That
Yeah.
shawarma, that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm not a big a Disney guy. I did go once when I was a kid, but I think I have to eventually make the trip back because it seems like that's what everybody does once they start having kids.
It's a rite of passage once you have kids.
Yeah.
And it's a it's a totally different ball game. I don't realize quite how many people go there without kids.
There's a lot. That's a part of the people watching.
Absolutely. And John, that's exactly where I was sitting.
T-shirts
The
and everything.
40-year-old women dressing up like princesses to meet the princesses. That's fantastic.
Mhm. And all the dads just cooking through the 18th, princess security shirt that they have on. They're just like, get me to the end. Get me to the end.
Every time I
the
see
light.
every time I see one of those grown adults with no kids that were going to Disney World to meet the characters, I think, well, that is the equivalent of a sports fan that paints their chest to go to games.
That's right.
Paints
They're
their
wearing-
faces to go to games.
Wearing a jersey of another grown man. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And what's the difference? You know?
I have thought about that, right? Like, I mean, because I got the mention to me, you're really wearing a Brewer shirt? You have a Packers shirt on? You don't have a Disney shirt? I'm like, listen, I don't have the Disney shirt.
Yeah.
I
and
apologize.
you walk around Disney with a Packer or a Brewer shirt on, you are getting shout out like 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Big
You
yeah.
walk
time.
around with something Packer, go Pat. You hear that at least a dozen times walking around one of those parks.
I had a little guy run back to me, give me a high five because his dad said, "You see, he got Packers on." We were fired up. We were big fans down there. So there's plenty. It was a lot of good people watching. There's plenty of stuff to go around.
Indeed. And I'd say some little divergence on the text line when it comes to Disney. Wayne said, I just had flashbacks. Took our son to Disney once, the most unhappy place on earth, and he was always a well-behaved child, but the other people yuck. 608 says, I live in Jacksonville. I have friends that go to Disney monthly, but I never went. Big pass. But then some people, just absolutely love it. Some people are absolutely, I'm not going to read this, Derek, because he asked me not to. All right, then I won't read it. Good thing I saw that just in time.
Catch.
Don't do that, Derek, if you don't want me to read it, because I might make a mistake or somebody else might around here. Let's see here.
I
Sheila
like
in
the-
Milwaukee, the women dressing up like princesses. To me, the princesses, they're fantastic. Until you're married one of them, I would have to imagine. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's at that level. I don't know if
I like Marcus in Iowa.
Yeah.
The second click on a roller coaster is the equivalent to the backup parachute for skydiving.
Oh, yeah, you
like,
need the
sure.
second click.
I need that
If you
second
don't,
click.
if you only get one click, you got to wiggle and move and arch. And then when you get it clicked in, to try and settle back into your seat after the second click is nearly impossible.
Mm.
yes.
Now your legs are so clenched together that you can't breathe. You can't get a deep breath.
Yep.
And
All you want is it for it
you
to
got
be
a
over.
60-second roller coaster ride that you're gonna just be hanging from.
It was Six Flags, and it was either the business group or the physics class, whatever it was. It's senior year of high school. You're basically the last month of school. You're at Six
Yep,
Flags.
we went to that. We went on that one. We
3
went
or
on that
4
one.
different trips, right? Well, one of the days was when the X-Flight roller coaster came out. So we were all excited. Me and a couple of the boys were hanging out there. I distinctly remember my man Nate Stemo. Now, 160-pound power lifter. He'd be pushing weight, right? Matt LaFleur was trying to catch up to him when he popped his pec on the incline bench potentially, right? So I'm sitting there. We waited about an hour and a half, John, and we were getting on this roller coaster, and I was having the exact same situation. I asked right away, security, you guys got an extra large seat over here? Right? You guys got a big, that one over there is the biggest seat we got. So we had 2 or 3 individuals while I was taking the deep breaths, pushing the chest, protector in. And I just went hands up in the air, palms up to the sky, take as deep of a just exhale as possible. And we crammed that thing in there to get a second click because we were not waiting after an hour and a half to be able to get in there. That was maybe the most uncomfortable I've been for 60 seconds, but hey, it was worth it.
Hey, did you buy the picture? It's always a picture they're trying to sell you at the end of those roller coasters,
Yeah,
right? You got to
absolutely.
buy the picture.
Gotta
right?
buy the picture.
You
You gotta
gotta
buy the
Splash
picture.
Mountain picture. for
Splash
sure.
Mountain,
But it's
it's-
not Splash Mountain anymore, is it, Billy?
No, I think they took it down.
They changed the name of it,
Yeah.
I thought.
I think it's a Tiana.
That
right
was-
now.
That was a big controversy,
What?
wasn't it? That was a big
Mhm.
controversy. It's called
Brer Bear was a little too controversial.
Well, listen, controversy and controversial things being said was not an issue onto a microphone last night. Netflix special of the Tom Brady roast got a little wild, got crazy for 3 hours. Apparently they were going last night. Did anybody partake? Armin, I can imagine that was right near another birthing video at the last thing that you wanted.
Yeah,
to
we're
watch.
busy with that stuff too. But no, I mean, listen, it's going. The clips were good on the internet. It's pretty funny.
Wait, you
So I
didn't
gotta be
watch
honest,
this?
I didn't watch it live.
I
saw
would have thought
clips
this would have been catnip for Armin Sarian.
to watch.
I would have
Brady
thought
then.
this
Yeah.
would have been the
You would
greatest
think.
thing you would, because you hate Tom Brady. This should have been your Super Bowl.
Should have been, and I you're right. I get annoyed with him a lot, and I did enjoy what I saw last night. Now I regret not watching the whole thing live because I think I would have really enjoyed it. So, but apparently Brady was a good sport. Now that's what I was worried about too. I thought they were just going to do this to make Brady look like so good natured, such a good fun guy, and set up. He's going to be a broadcaster. Look how good he can take a joke. He's so much more relatable than all the rest of the other athletes. So That was part of it.
But
But
he
again,
didn't
Nikki
take all
Glazer
the
killed it.
jokes well.
Yeah, not
He
all the
didn't
jokes
take all
well.
the jokes well.
No,
There was a massage joke about Robert Kraft that he had to walk up and ask the man to never say that thing again.
it was a little Will Smith situation. Like that was the only clip that I saw last night of, hey,
You
keep
know-
my owner's name out your mouth.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, I'm sure they raised a bunch of money for a charity or something or other, but if you're gonna get roasted, you got to accept the roasting. And the other people getting roasted as well. Gronk got roasted. Everybody got roasted. That was there. Kim Kardashian took it on the chin about as hard as anybody.
Yeah.
she did. She really did. She got it pretty good. And the thing is,
So
that's
that's
what
a
roast is
thing,
all
right?
about.
That's official, right? Tom and Kim are like kind of a thing going on. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know if it's official.
That's what the internet was just going wild
Sure.
with last night. So that's like an official thing.
Official? I don't know if
I
it's
didn't know
official.
that's official.
I mean, I don't know that we're
official.
talking Facebook official.
It's an
but
official
it sounds
rumor.
like an official rumor.
It's an
that
official,
they're-
yeah.
Is this
potentially
dumpster
together.
diving for Tom Brady?
Wow, come on. Don't do Kim like that.
No, I mean, but
Don't look at
compared
Kim
to
like
what
that.
Tom Brady has done in the past,
It's a definite
it's a
change.
step down, isn't it?
It's a definite change. Yeah. It's a definite change. There's
I mean, I don't
there's
know.
Or
certain
does he
avenues
date
that
based
you
off
go.
of net worth? I mean, maybe that's
Sure,
the
she's
case.
making money, no doubt about it. I mean, yeah,
Maybe she's
Giselle.
teaching him about broadcasting. Because like Armin said, I mean, he's got to learn how to be on a microphone.
And she's been a TV star for this long. You know what I mean? So you're talking
Talk
Kim?
about Kim Kardashian. Yeah.
She's been one of the most successful shows in history.
The only reason
Of
why Kim was
television.
nervous was because the kids
What
were
is-
with their husband or with their dad. I mean, there were some fantastic drops there.
There was. Nikki
Wow.
Glazer killed it though. One of everyone's favorite comedians these days, I would say. I'm gonna find a couple clean clips to play at some point.
There's no way you're finding anything.
I'm gonna
clean.
do my best to try and find
in between
a clip.
the Aaron Hernandez jokes and the Robert Kraft jokes and the Deflategate situation. He admitted to Deflategate basically.
That's a good question. I thought.
He
That's a good
basically
question.
admitted to it. He
That's-
said they spent $20 million to try to see if I did it. They got to give me the $20 million, John. I would have told them I bleeping did it. I'd tell them that I did just about anything if they were going to give me $20 million. That would be the retort for one
Yeah,
Tom
it would have
Brady. I
been.
would assume.
Yeah.
You think Tom Brady plays or broadcasts a game first?
No, he's broadcasting.
You don't think you think he might still come back, Billy?
I think you put the video out and say I could return for a reason. I think he wants to.
I've talked to quite a few people around the industry because Tom Brady getting into the booth means Greg Olson has to take a step down and
Mhm.
the implications of that and what that means around the broadcasting world. And for all intents and purposes, they're saying Brady is attacking this broadcasting like he attacked football, right? He is
Mhm.
preparing and
By
this,
getting a
this
good
whole-
team around him?
This last year wasn't a gap year for him. It was a year in the lab, Armin.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well,
You
maybe
think he's trying to get a top
who's
10
taking-
defense so that he can
Well,
win a
you
championship?
said attacking it like football, a bunch of check downs to everybody else. No, I'm just making fun. But hey, what happened? Who's taking over JJ Watt when he comes back? Because that's another rumor.
Well, that's a good point because
That
they
popped
may have
up.
just gassed a couple of folks on the CBS spot.
I mean, now JJ Watt's coming back. Apparently,
Is Tom Brady and JJ Watt coming back? That one made news this weekend, and we got to get into that news because JJ Watt wants to find a way into the conversation. Well, he definitely did. And anything will fire up Wisconsin sports fans like a JJ Watt rumor. It's 9 to noon on the game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And today I have a big announcement for you. And that is simple now. Now is the time. And for a very limited time, you can order from Pella and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. But you have to do it now. You only have until May 10th for this incredible deal. So jump on it. And when it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows or doors, you want to feel confident that your choices will turn out exactly how you envisioned it. Would it make more sense in your home to go with black frames or white? Whether your home is newer, classic, mid-century modern, or something truly historic, Pella's Design Works lets you virtually see what your home will look like with the new windows and patio doors before you buy them. You can check out what your home will look like while you're deciding your picks. Vinyl, wood, fiberglass, Pella has all the options to bring your vision to life, creating the perfect style for your home. So now get 0% interest-free financing for up to 60 months if you book by May 10th. So set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com and tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah. Ray J got his camera. Yes, we got all of the messages on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Yes, we got all your messages about Ray J and Kim K. Definitely got his camera. Many people have learned a lot about potentially Tom Brady's new girlfriend, thanks to Ray J, because as he said, did it first.
He'll let you know about it, right?
He'll let you know about it. And listen, Ray J was doing it earlier on than right now, which is 2024 rap game. People are just throwing elbows at each other. I mean, haymakers at each other. Ray J was trying to let everybody know, hey, Miles Austin, Reggie Bush, Chris Humphries, Tom Brady.
Yeah. That's the first one I forgot about.
Chris Humphries was the one that she got married
to for a short time.
If you forgot that one.
For a short time, yeah.
Very, very short time. I still remember looking around like, hold on, Miles Austin, 1,000-yard receiver with the Dallas Cowboys, right? He was kind of nice. Reggie Bush, obviously, now again Heisman Trophy winner. He was not potentially at that time.
Do we call him a 2-time Heisman winner now?
I kind of want to, yeah. I think it feels better to say 2-time Heisman Trophy. Him and Archie Griffin. There were a couple other really prolific scorers on that lineup. And then there was Chris Humphries, who was like, 4 boards and 2 points a game.
Oh, wait a minute.
What are we doing here, Chris Humphries?
Wait a minute. He did get 5th in most improved player voting in 2010.
For averaging what, 9 a night?
Let's just roll back, because he did roll up with 10 and 10. All right, so there you go.
Wow, Chris Humphries. I was unfamiliar with your game.
Double.
Put some respect on his name out there. All right, put some respect on his name.
So,
just kidding. Of course,
John,
he wasn't that good.
Yeah, John, that would definitely be a downgrade. I mean, at least from where she's upgrading. I mean, she went from 5th in most improved player award to greatest quarterback of all time. After, there was a little Kanye stop in there as well. But, at that point, who hasn't? So she got booed mercilessly last night at the roast of Tom Brady. Some people saying it was unfair. Some people big fans of it. Apparently, Ben Affleck was the only one that was not interesting last night. He was the only one that was not funny, mostly because he wasn't talking about, anything below the belt, apparently, with Gronk, because that was also a large part of the clips that I was seeing all morning long after that roast of Brady last night.
Yeah, I now I'm just trying to figure out which Kardashian is going to try and date Anthony Edwards, because he is now the greatest basketball player.
Probably a Jenner. Probably go to a Jenner.
Yeah.
Well,
at that point.
Yeah, was
Devin
it Kendall
Booker.
Jenner was with Devin Booker?
I don't know if they're still together. I don't keep track of that stuff.
How do you not?
Laura's my go-to when it comes to celebrity information. And
they have at least a solid bench to go along with the starting 5.
That's
yeah,
true.
definitely.
Yeah.
In 2017, Kendall Jenner was named the most highest paid model by Forbes, ousting Giselle, who had been the leader since 2002.
Oh, yeah.
So I think maybe this is like a family conflict going back at Giselle.
She got the highest. She got the highest one-time post rate for the Fyre Fest. I think they gave her $250,000 for one post about Fyre Fest. That was in the documentary. I know, it's really wild. It's crazy.
And not that you've watched that documentary ever before.
That documentary is hilarious. I love that.
Too many different times. 414-799-1973. Okay. Paul in Grafton is a lot of times our conscious on the radio program, which we love. He's on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line, calling us out for something. Paul, we appreciate it here on a Monday. What do you got for us?
Well, all the guys bitching and moaning about going to Disney World is long forgotten when he's walking his daughter up the aisle on her wedding day, and all he sees is an 8-year-old princess at the princess breakfast at the Magic Kingdom. Guaranteed. Been there, done that. And I followed, by the way, today is our 52nd wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Congrats.
I followed Jimmy Durante's advice. Just make someone happy, and you'll be happy too. That's all I got for today.
Oh, wow. I love that. Dropping knowledge. And I do appreciate that advice. Although I don't.
From experience.
I don't think you guys were complaining, though. That's my one thing I'll say. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I love taking my kids to Disney World, minus that invoice you get as you walk out of the hotel. When they hand you that invoice, and you're like, page 3, page 4, Page 5. How many turkey legs did I have? How many Dole Whips did we have at this damn place? Every single, and they give you the bands to put on your hands that act like money.
Yeah.
You better have
If
bands.
Don't even
you
worry about it.
carried money, you would be more knowledgeable of how much you're spending. You don't
Mhm.
realize it because you have this band on. And then guess what? They give them to your kids too because they know they'll just walk up and go beep-a-deep, beep-a-deep, and grab
Where'd you get
whatever
that?
the heck. Yeah.
Oh, right over there, Dad.
Yeah, I just
Okay, cool.
swiped my magic band. It's magic. It's not really magic. Daddy makes the magic happen. It's not really magic. It's not real magic. It's actual money. It's like a credit card they put on a 6-year-old wrist. It's not fair.
Where did this Cinderella's
But I
castle
do love Disney World.
I know, I get it.
Just when you walk out of there and they give you a bibliography of purchases.
Mhm. And then that one moment when they're falling asleep on the shoulder as you're driving back to the hotel, like, okay, it's all worth it until I get that invoice.
Until you get the bill.
Then I'm going to wonder exactly how much this hug was worth. My sister had a great one that goes right in line with the Magic Band. Her my brother-in-law at the country club up in Sheboygan, and she goes, "Oh, it's like magic. You just tell them a number and then they bring you drinks." He looks over at, honey, it's really not quite exactly like that. It's not as magical as you're making it sound.
And you don't
like.
just get to tell them any number you want, right?
Oh, no, I just give you the number and then it's all free.
705.
Yeah, and then it's all
Here's
free.
your drink. Wow.
Sweet.
Awesome.
I'm gonna
Ax-
try
Ax-
619 next time.
Now, Action Hartford. Now, I hope we don't start seeing this become a trend, or people starting to push back, coming at Paul and Grafton.
Oh.
No offense, Paul. Things were a hell of a lot cheaper back in your day at Disney. Hey, now wait a minute. Now we don't know. Maybe
kind of got a point there.
he's got a point. They were probably cheaper, but they might have still been expensive for. We don't know what. Maybe his salary.
You
was
got to
less
imagine
too.
Paul's married for 52 years. That means he was probably going to Disney 40 years ago.
He could have been there at the Open. I think they opened just over like 50 some years ago.
Or maybe money ain't a
He
thing.
got
for Paul.
the got the trivia on the way back. It was $3.50 when the parks first opened
Wow, that's
to
wild.
be able to go in.
That is wild.
You want to
Isn't
know how
it?
much it is now?
Do you think Paul Paul's probably a great person to be waiting in line for a ride? Right?
Yes.
You start talking about some things. Oh, look at this up here. Look at that over here. And Paul will start, Rudyard Kipling once said, when waiting in line, it's patience is a virtue.
As Churchill once said, a roller coaster is not so down as up, but it is around. He'd give you all kinds of stuff, but he would entertain you. There's no doubt about it. He would drop all kinds of a wealth of knowledge, the wealth of experience that Paul has.
And while you're sitting in that line, you're just scrolling like, how much can I pay to be in that other line?
And then when you
No,
get,
no,
and
no,
when
we
you
love
get,
it.
and when
We
you get
love
to
it.
the front, when you get to the
Come on
front
now.
of the, when you get to the front of the long line, and then you actually get to pick your seats of where on the roller coaster you're going to sit. Wherever Paul goes, you go the other way.
Complete opposite direction.
We're
How-
just kidding, Paul. We love it.
We love it.
it.
How
We
about
love it.
Triple A Dante? He's taken Paul's statement,
okay.
taking it to heart. This is going to be my roller coaster in 2 days. Driving to see my baby girl graduate college at Southern Idaho. My man's going to be driving just under 24 hours.
That's a day. That's a full day. I don't know if you guys know that. That's
he
a
stays
full.
on the road. He's got no fear of driving anywhere.
That's a good point. He spends the day in the
but I
car.
mean,
But that is a
goodness
long.
gracious.
You go straight through Mike Heller style though, because
Yeah, I
Mike
don't
and
know.
Kari don't stop.
More-
I have to stop and sleep over at least once.
more than anything, I mean, you're going to need a Purple Heart for going through Iowa and Nebraska, let
it's-
alone Wyoming. I mean,
it-
you want to
it's
talk
boring.
about the drags of the country. I mean, my man's just got to go right through the middle of the abyss right there. Godspeed, Triple A Dante.
Yeah.
We love you.
And
we love
congrats to your daughter.
And congratulations to her at Southern Idaho. We're big fans of the Southern Potatoes. All right, 414-799-1973. Been waiting for this one. JJ Watt at his own golf tournament this weekend dropped that if you need me, I'm here. We had a nooner say the Green Bay Packers need to be the ones calling. Is this real? Is this all a joke? And if indeed it's not, do you want to be calling? One JJ Watt, 414-799-1973. Talk about making some news and self-promoting in the middle of May. The man is the best at it. It's 9 to noon on the Game. Hey guys, Billy Schmidt, and Underdog Fantasy is rolling through the NBA playoffs. Even though our team is no longer hanging around and participating, you should be in the action with Underdog Fantasy and their NBA Pick'em game, whether it's NBA, NHL playoffs going on, MLB. My fiance is a big fan of their MLB Pick'em game, and every single night there's so many projections to choose from that it actually is kind of mind blowing. The amount of ways that you can create your own experience with Underdog Fantasy. All you do is select between 2 to 5 players, higher or lower on a player's statistics. And if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. That means $5 can turn into $500 in one night. A lot of that comes with their Scorch statistics. You go higher on a couple of those. Great opportunities and chances to win. It's legal in Wisconsin. It's tons of fun to play along and watch games, and especially fun to be able to enjoy the NBA playoffs with the Bucks not in it. Download the Underdog Fantasy app today. Put in promo code Billy, Billy, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you a special mystery pick just for using my Pick'em code. That's Billy, Billy. Play tonight. Knicks and Pacers. You could get first quarter statistics. Tyrese Halliburton higher than 4.5 first quarter points. Jalen Brunson higher than 8.5 first quarter points. And if those lose, get back in the rest of the night. That's the way I do it over at Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. 9 to noon on the game inside the Iron Jock Studios, ironjoc.com. Thanks for hanging out with all of us here today inside the Iron Jock Studios. More importantly, thanks for listening to 9 to noon. And if you have not yet, go right now to @BillSchmidtRadio, @9 noon via Twitter, or as the kids are calling it, X these days, CoonJ30. So you follow our guy, John Coon, Armin Sarian as well. You know the name, you know the handle.
Yeah.
You're going to find the link to Nooner Day 5 tickets. And if you have not bought them yet, first off, I say, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Because it's going to sell out. There is real close to being able to say that there's going to be a very good surprise and a very filling surprise for our friends that are the first 200 listeners, first 200 to buy tickets, and might be a little spicy. So leave that one out there for you. Just a little spiciness for you. Original for those that can't handle the heat, but there's going to be a little bit of a surprise for the first 200 people that buy tickets for Nooner Day 5. Go get the link right now. Hammer 4 tickets limit. I mean, you can get a couple other people to grab 10 and buy out a whole section in the right field bleachers. We have the whole section ready to go with 200 people plus. Enjoy as many Nooners that are possibly able to make it out there for Nooner Day 5. So go get your tickets right now @9 noon via social media. Fellas, one guy that I don't know is going to be at Nooner Day 5. Cannot confirm JJ Watt's going to be at Nooner Day 5. Put the link out to his people. Let everybody know.
Why not?
That we had a ticket for JJ if he wanted to make it to Nooner Day 5. Instead, John Armin, apparently he's busy. Apparently he's potentially busy on the comeback trail for the 35-year-old Pewaukee Justin James Watt, who dropped this little nugget yesterday or this weekend at his own golf outing when asked if he's going to come back and play for the Houston Texans. Okay.
What?
Okay. You no. You can't leave that many tea leaves out there and not want there to be this response. You don't put this out here, John, if you do not want people hammering at JJ Watt on social media to say, JJ, we need you back. Come on. One more time with the boys. We're right there. We're so close. You know what this is going to bring. You know, he knew exactly what he was doing. Now that they see CJ Stroud in year number 2 and his former teammate running the show with the Houston Texans. So I fully anticipate he's playing this year with the Texans.
Well, you know, he's been training, obviously, and he's been training to
like
play
this.
Is what it sounds like, right?
Mhm.
So training like this, he's training to play. Last year was an interesting one because had he come back to play last year going into the season, it would have been, you need me to lead because I'm a veteran and I'm an old guy and I can show people the way to do things down here in Houston. Don't call me unless you need me, though. I hate to say it. They didn't need him.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, right?
They got to the playoffs. CJ Stroud was great and they didn't necessarily need him. Now what's changed this year? Oh, yeah, I'll let them know again. Hey, it's out there. I'll come down there if you need me. So if somebody gets hurt, I'll come down there. And I'd love to watch JJ Watt go back on a vet minimum deal. Just go back on a vet minimum deal. Just go down there and lead by example for all these young guys down there in Houston. Now that they have a team that looks like it's set up to win the AFC South and has a quarterback that could potentially, lead them to a deep playoff run. Yeah. Now I'm definitely I'm going to go take that vet minimum deal and go back there.
Oh, pardon me, 262. It was a softball game, not a golf tournament. You idiot.
Way to go, Billy.
What an idiot.
Way to go.
Confuses softball game with golf tournament to be able to raise money. I mean, what an absolute moron does that. This one does.
Crazy.
And still is knowing exactly what JJ Watt's doing. My man wants to drum this up, wants to be able to have the name continue to roll through. And maybe if he was, this is going to sound really mean, and I don't mean it to.
Uh-oh.
If he was knockout amazing on television, do we have these conversations? If he doesn't get fried for his hairstyle at the Super Bowl, are we having this conversation?
Well, any pub's good pub, right? That's Rex Ryan's motto. Any
True.
pub is good pub. Here's the deal, though, and I'm thinking like this: if you're going to come back to help the Texans, right? If they need you, is that the only team? Is that the only team you consider?
Because we had calls earlier.
I'm not going to say I'm not saying, but I'm just saying CJ Stroud is one of those quarterbacks that you go, ooh they could make a little bit of noise now here.
Yeah,
in year number 2 of CJ Stroud's career. Jordan Love, you could say, ooh he's going to make some noise in year number 2 as a starter for the Green Bay Packers. It is your home state. It is that team that you kind of always maybe hoped or thought or would have liked to have played a year or two for. You could potentially do that here in Green Bay too, JJ. Does it only have to be in Houston with D'Amico Ryans that he puts us out there?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I don't see him even coming back, but it's a nice pipe dream.
He's training like that.
Well, he's
Like
training.
that.
He's training, guys. I'm not going to train like that anymore. I'm not going to lift weight in my retirements and tear my pectorals. Right, like you guys, old guys can't do that anymore, right? That's what you guys.
And JJ Watt had a lot of those. I mean, like when we were talking about it in hour number 1 about Giannis, dude that trained his body relentlessly. Watts talked about it at this, and now that he's a little bit older into his career, like, yeah, maybe I did push it a little bit too hard. Maybe there weren't times that I gave myself a necessary rest and recovery to get better, because he did later in his career struggle being able to stay on the field for entire seasons. He did walk away playing his best ball.
We've talked a lot about load management because of Giannis and it being unhealthy going into playoffs, a couple years here now in a row, getting injuries and whatnot. What would you rather see in your athletes? Would you rather see athletes that are playing, 15, 20-year careers in the NBA, 12, 13, 15 years in the NFL, but are missing games and taking time off and are potentially load managing? Or do you like the guys like JJ Watt that are out there maxing every second out, squeezing that juice out of every orange, every single game, every single season? And if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. And, if he misses a couple years on the back end, so what? Because he gave it his all every single time. What sports do you prefer? Because I kind of prefer the latter.
If it helps my team win a championship, I prefer the first, right? Like, I mean, if it's clear and obvious that it's going to keep everybody healthy towards the back end, then I guess I'll go number 1. But to me, it's like spending a bunch of money in baseball. There's still no guarantee to it.
Never.
There really isn't.
Look at Josh Hader.
If you look at load management, who does it really ever work for? The Spurs?
Yeah, work for the Spurs pretty well.
That was about it, really? I
mean, LeBron getting to take 2 months off during the pandemic and coming in and winning the NBA Finals in 2020 is one that helps. I mean, Giannis played the fewest games in his career, and they win the Finals in 21. So, I mean, like, there are times that it does somewhat help, but I don't necessarily know. There's not enough necessarily case study on it to fully understand.
It's also tough to judge because when it becomes industry standard, right? When other teams are doing it, you kind of even the playing field out. When the Spurs did it, I don't think people were doing it yet, right? They were one of the first teams to start doing it, so maybe they had an edge in the competition. It's hard because you can't quantify it. It's hard to sit there and say there's a definite correlation between.
But that's why I asked, which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer?
In your head, you say to yourself, I want whatever we think will help win a championship. But when your heart's involved, you don't want a guy on the field in the middle of a game to go anything but 100%. You want them to try and win the game that's in front of them. So I think you have to protect the player from themselves. I want my player to want to go 100%, but I want my coach and my staff to know when it's time to throttle them back. And we go back to Giannis. I don't want him playing 35 minutes next year. As much as I want to watch him 35 minutes, I want the coaching staff to make sure they keep it to 30 to 32 because I think that could have a difference. And if it doesn't, at least you say you did everything you could to try and keep him healthy, right? But NFL is different, John, because there's only so many games.
We should just shorten the season in basketball, right? Because even if Armin's even saying, I don't want Giannis playing all that much. We should just do is we should play 20 games in a warm up and then just get him right into the playoffs.
And it's hard to say because I want to watch him play, but it's clearly you got to do something, right, to keep him healthy. So,
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're never changing it, right? They're only adding games
They're not
potentially
shortening.
more than shortening it, especially in the NFL. I mean, they're going to add that 18th game. Like that is going to happen sooner rather than later. Hey, man, good thing finally Ken in the Falls has weighed in on this.
yes.
Armin, I still lift weights and I haven't torn my pec. Hashtag strong like a bull.
That's right. I should
Take
have
that.
I should. Ken, you're different.
Kenalytics.
Ken, you're an outlier. You're different.
Ken's
you can't
drinking
compare
whiskey
yourself.
while he's
Right,
lifting.
right.
That's true.
You can't compare you to everybody else, Ken.
Yeah.
Come on. You're a different cat. You're built different, Ken.
One
You're
of one is
Yep,
what the kids
exactly.
these days
Yep.
would say. 414-799-1973. There's one potential reason why JJ Watt wouldn't make the Lambeau leap to come play for the Green Bay Packers. And it might have been that cash thing that John said. Do it for the league minimum, JJ. He ain't coming back to the Texans if they're paying the league minimum. I'm sorry. There's no chance. So quit asking. Hour 3, 9 to noon, always our best one yet. It happens right after this. 9 to noon, hour 3, always our best one of the day. It features John Coons. Can't miss in about 10 minutes from right now. I'm Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian, locked and loaded. You're on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. And John, Armin, I did not necessarily anticipate the Packer pushback from the JJ Watt part of the conversation. How about this one? 414, JJ was on the Dan Patrick show a few years back, and when DP asked him about going to Green Bay, JJ got really weird and shut the conversation down. Like there was some issues there. I wonder why. And then JC and Kade goes, Watt claimed that he wanted to win a championship, then went to Arizona instead of Green Bay. Boo Watt. There's not as many people that were jumping for joy on the thought of, John, what you mentioned, like, hey, maybe JJ Watt wants to finish up and tie up that one loose end on his career, not playing for the hometown team and chasing a title with the green and gold.
If he's going to stay in shape to potentially go down to Houston, if they need him, right? If they need him.
Only if you guys need me.
And what does that even mean, by the way?
They need him.
When
He
don't
doesn't-
you need a player?
He doesn't really want to do it. He doesn't really want to continue working out the way that he does. But if they need him, he will come back. Well, what if somebody else needs you?
Yeah,
What if somebody else that's poised to make a run actually needs you? I don't know. I don't think JJ ends up coming back. This is very rare that a player misses an entire season and then comes back to play, right? And when I say misses, I don't mean misses because of an injury going into a free agent season and then just loses you. I'm talking back end of career, season goes by, you're in the broadcast booth, then you go back in. I mean, Jason Witten is like one of the only ones I can think that did that.
And now Jason Witten did because he was horrible on television.
Bad.
Right? Like, I mean, that's why I'm like,
If you
Jason
didn't-
wasn't great. Jason was horrendous. Like, I've got to go back and play so people forget
do you
that.
think anybody interviewed him for that position?
There's no
Did-
chance.
Did he ever do a practice game? Maybe he killed it on the interview and the practice tapes, and then he got in front of the big camera, and it was like, what
Yeah.
happened?
There-
He
I
was the
told you-
combine warrior when he went to the broadcast boot camp that the NFL put out, and they're like, holy cow, we got to hire this guy right now.
Yeah, probably right.
He ran himself a 4.21 version in the 40 on that broadcast boot camp, blew everybody out of the water, and ESPN's like, ladies and gentlemen,
we
we
got him.
got him. We got our next cowboy.
Well,
And instead they gave, Troy Aikman $94 million to be their cowboy.
I think there are some guys they just assume because of their playing career or whatever that they're going to be good
Well,
broadcasters.
they play for the Cowboys.
They play maybe that, or that they'll bring eyes for a short term. It's a short term kind of thing. It's the new flashy thing in front of them. And Tom Brady was that guy. He got this huge deal. He never broadcasted before. We'll see how good he is. I'm just saying he might be great at it. He might be boring. People might like him just because he was a great player. People might not, but it will be interesting to see. There's no guarantee. You think everyone?
You hope
wants him
right
so
now
bad.
you don't like him.
You can't
'Cause
just
you're-
walk
are you-
into a booth and not anyone can do that job. I'm sorry. You
What
can
do
just
you mean?
walk into a booth and start broadcasting at a great level and be
He
a great
didn't
broadcaster.
just walk into a booth. He's
No.
been working on it for a year.
So I've heard that he is. That's good. We'll see if the work paid off. I could work. I could work on fixing
Are-
cars for a year. I wouldn't know what I'm doing.
Are you going to give him a fair shake?
No
Are you gonna
chance.
give him
Yeah.
a fair chance?
Yeah,
There's
I'm,
no
I'm going to
chance.
try my best to do that.
You're going to try your best.
I'm
There's
going to
no
let you know
chance.
what? I'm going to let everyone else's opinion, the consensus opinion about his broadcasting, be the one that decides it. I'm not going to let because I recognize I
Wait,
might be
hold on.
biased, so I'm not going to give him a fair shake. I'm not going to
Might
say.
be.
So I'm not going to say I'm going to be the final word on his broadcasting
No,
talent.
you get to have your. You get to have.
Oh, I have
whether
an
you like
opinion.
it. You have your opinion.
I'll have an
asking,
opinion.
I'm asking what happens if your opinion is like, oh man, he's actually pretty good. I actually kind of like this. You're
Yeah.
gonna be. You're not gonna know how to handle it.
I'll try and be as honest as possible. I don't know how I'll handle it.
No chance.
What if he's really bad? And I feel like, well, I told you guys so, but I can't say it because it's Armin who didn't like Brady, so he's biased. So I don't know. What if he's just average? Is that good enough for that contract? Shouldn't he be the best broadcaster of all time with that money that they're going to pay him? I don't know. Are they going to pay that much just for a guy?
No,
who
because
fills the
Tom
seat?
Brady's now people are not going to like this. Tom Brady's time is worth more than what it is for somebody else that's walking into that booth trying to get the job.
I'll
Right?
agree with that. I'll agree with that. Yep.
He has a certain level of cachet that his price inherently to wipe with some Charmin at your restaurant is going to be more than it's going to be for some other individuals, right?
Fair
Like,
enough.
I mean, I get the sticker shock is going to be a part of it, but to get Tom Brady to get out of bed, I mean, he was married to one of the most wealthy women in the world there in Gisele Bündchen, took less money because he knew he was going to have a chance to win. So like
Yeah.
the cash part of it is going to be difficult for anybody to keep out of the conversation, but I think that is going to be somewhat secondary to it.
Well, yeah, and I don't see it, and I agree with you, Billy, that the money on this does not necessarily reflect what he has done. It's the boost that they could get in viewership. It's the help with, the notoriety of the position that he's going to be sitting in and filling in for. I mean, Greg Olsen, he had a great career in the NFL. He didn't have Tom Brady's career.
Right.
He didn't, and he didn't play Tom Brady's position.
Of course
And
not.
Greg Olsen is exceptional at what he does.
Yeah.
He is great at it.
And so,
But Tom Brady coming in there is still Tom Brady.
what boost in view? I mean, is the NFL looking for a boost in ratings? It's the most popular thing on in the world on
They're
television.
always looking for a
Fox
boost.
How
is
much more are they
against
going to?
CBS.
Are they going to get it? How much more are they going to get it? People are going to watch the NFL no matter what. So,
Didn't they see a ratings boost this year from flashing a certain pop star on TV for 20 seconds a time?
Yes, I think so. Put Taylor Swift in the booth, you'll get a ratings boost. I don't think Tom's doing that same thing with that market.
Sorry, Tom Brady's at that level of stardom.
Yes, but the people already watching are his fans, right? Taylor Swift's fans were a different segment of society. That's the difference. So I don't know that Tom Brady might be good. They might be happy to pay him, and they'll get great ratings because the NFL always does. I just don't know if it'll be worth it. That's just my personal thing. And you're right. Greg Olsen's a really good broadcaster. So is he gonna have like less ratings now because Tom Brady's a bigger name and was.
Well, he's going to get less
ratings.
ratings because his game's not going to be as good.
He will. I meant to
And
say
it
it's
won't
the
be-
number one
and it
game
won't
going to get
be-
less ratings.
It won't be aired in as many markets. There's a whole lot of reasons
Sure.
why that'll happen. But
I mean, is the
it's
number
still-
one game going to
Tom
get
Brady
more
will be
ratings or less
measured.
ratings?
Tom Brady will be measured against Greg Olsen. Right.
Yeah.
That's how he will be measured. Not his contract against Greg Olsen's, how he actually sounds and what
Yes.
he actually says.
Agree.
versus Greg Olsen.
I agree, and my
And
point
if
is,
he's
there's no
worked for a
guarantee it'll be
year on
good.
this, if he's worked for a year diligently to get really good at this, you don't think there's a chance he could be really good at
No,
this, Herman?
of course, there's a chance he's good at it, but just because
What are
he
the
works
chances?
There's
hard
no
at it
chance
you
you
get a
admit
doesn't
he's
mean
good
he's
at it, though.
entertaining to people, and doesn't mean he's funny. What does good mean?
Again,
Good mean he sounds polished and he sounds professional, or good mean he's actually someone people enjoy listening to and think is funny and think is entertaining?
it's
That's
all
my
in the
point.
same. Do you think what's the chance that you give him to be good at this next career? What is your 50-50?
No, there's a good chance he's good at it. I mean, he's going to have every opportunity to be good at it. He's going to probably work hard at it. He's going to be set up with it. It's kind of a subjective thing. So what's the percentage chance he's good? Yeah, I guess 50-50 is fine.
So
for
you
that.
really think it's a coin flip possibility that a dude that was the 199th pick in the NFL draft went on to be the most prolific winner the sport's ever seen is going to get this opportunity and just say,
That's totally
yeah, it is what it is.
Well,
I'll be
but
okay at it.
be-
The
being
dude
great,
is going to make sure that he's
being great at a
it.
sport and being a great athlete is totally different than being a great broadcaster. So if you think one results in
But when
the
you're
other,
talking,
maybe not. I don't know. And what does great mean? It's a subjective thing, right? Everyone's gonna have its art. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion on what a great
yeah,
broadcaster
I mean, some
is.
people think Tony Romo's great.
right.
I
Some people love him. Right?
However, right now, Tony Romo, in year whatever it is, 6 or 7 of him broadcasting games, have they gotten their $180 million worth of it? So I mean, like,
I don't know.
Whatever you're saying subjectively of good
Yeah,
is also the subjective term of worth it.
absolutely.
Like, I mean,
yes, I agree with
It's
that.
worth it for CBS in their belief, I would assume, John, to have that continuity and have a guy that played quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys that everybody's going to know and remember and still like because, oh, he dated Jessica Simpson and Carrie Underwood, right? I mean, this guy, Gisele Bündchen and Kim Kardashian, and he's got a YouTube or a Netflix roast. People are instantly going to love this guy.
Yeah, I mean, think about how your Twitter feed looked last night on a roast
Yeah.
of Tom Brady, Armin.
I mean, was in a suit, not even wearing a tie.
Sure. It was funny, and it
It's about
got
eyes
people's
and
Twitters.
ears. It's about eyes and ears, and they're going to get it.
It was
They're
a
gonna
great
be
night
even
for
more
Nikki
Tom Brady.
Glazer, no doubt about it.
That was a good night for
She
Nikki
was my
Glaser.
top. She was my top trend the rest of the night, and then like other things like Aaron Hernandez and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I was going to say
You
that
know
was
what I
kind of
mean?
the number one thing I saw in there too. Yeah, that was the number
If
one
you
I
can
saw.
get Tom Brady for your event anywhere, of course it's going to bring eyes. He's a huge star. I think the tale of if he's a good broadcaster week in and week out is going to be a totally different thing. So that's kind of where I come down on that. And he might be good and he might not be, and people might never be honest with themselves about it either. And the NFL will go on with or without him. I mean, the NFL is going to get great ratings no matter what, right? People are going to watch football no matter what. So it's the reality of it. They're
Well, that's fair. People are going to watch football.
I kind of love Tony Romo because he's unapologetically authentic, right? He just goes out there and he's mumbling and he's making groans and ooh, hey, ow, I don't know, and he's doing all these crazy things and it's fun, right? It's different than what we grew up with watching in the booth for football for so long. Honestly, it's what made John Madden so incredible. Is he would go off script, off kilter, and start circling butts of offensive linemen and talk about butt sweat and all that other funny stuff that you only ever really heard in the locker room. I love locker room chatter. I think that's incredible as well. I was listening to a broadcast the other day. John Kruk was talking about going and playing a prison team and how they would get heckled walking into the prison and how people were trying to reach from the cells and take their hats off of their heads. And they couldn't wait to get the hell out of there as fast as they possibly could, because there would be some trash talk going on with the catcher. And he was so nervous. He was, okay, well, what did the pitcher do to get in here? Oh, he killed somebody 30 years ago. And I mean, it's just, when you hear that on a broadcast, it's wild. That's the type of stuff that I want to hear.
I actually think that he's going to be more personable than we're giving him credit for. And I do think that it was part of this whole deal.
Arvin's going to end up liking Brady.
Probably.
And it's going to be his worst nightmare.
Probably. I'll probably think he's funny. He probably will be more personable. I think he'll probably have good insight. And I'm going to sit here and say, oh, gosh, I was wrong and I had to deal with that. And now I have to like it. And if so, that's fine. Mea culpa. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I think that you would agree. I try to do that.
Sometimes. Yeah.
All right. I was trash talking Luka plenty. And ever since then, he's gone and had been gone nuts the last
What
few
did Luka
games.
do in the playoffs? Just got Jason Kidd a contract extension.
Yeah, which is a big accomplishment. Let me tell you. Yeah, and Trey, I hope you hear
People
me,
can't
Trey.
change, can they? They can't change it.
Some do. So no, maybe some do sometimes.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought up Jason Kidd and that contract extension. I am curious, Billy, how you're going to address Darvin Ham getting fired in LA and LeBron potentially being on his fourth coach as a Laker.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, it was pretty clear that was not going to roll once some of the substitutions and sitting some of your best players in the final month and a half. It seems and sounds like it was getting quite hairy there for Darvin Ham in his final month and a half as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. The interesting part is this time last year, people were saying, damn, Bucks missed out.
Yeah.
Bucks missed out.
AD and LeBron were two of them.
Yeah.
They were the ones saying, we got the stud. We got the guy.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was like, nah, everybody else can kind of do some of this stuff. I mean, I thought that was a fake quote when he's saying, listen, it's hard to do it when certain players just bleep the bed. I thought that was a fake quote from Darvin Ham. No, that was real. I mean, that's fantastic stuff.
Darvin Ham's an OG. He doesn't give a rip. He is going to tell you what he thinks. And LeBron didn't like what Darvin Ham had to say. LeBron didn't like what Darvin Ham thinks. And LeBron's going to be on his 10th head coach in 21 years in the NBA.
Yeah, more importantly, I'd like to know who's picking the players for that team this year. Is Rob Pelinka still going to be the GM there in Los Angeles? I mean, what the heck are we doing? If we're going to keep cycling through coaches, let's figure this thing out. Let's figure this Rob Pelinka deal out, because he just keeps getting, talk about life after life after life for roster that rolls over. I understand that you want me to make fun of LeBron's 10 coaches in 21 years. More importantly,
I just want to hear you.
My man's been to 10 finals. So he's done it with, I think, 8 of those different coaches as well, which is pretty remarkable to think of.
It's remarkable, and it's wonky, and it's not what we're used to with GOATs, right? Tom Brady, GOAT. Who's he matched with? Belichick.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Jordan, GOAT. Who's he matched with? Phil. Kobe.
And he ran through a bunch of coaches before they got Phil.
Well, I know, but we're talking the championships here. Okay, Kobe. Who's he matched with? For the most part, Phil. Right? So you got some of these GOATs out there who matched with, their coaches. Duncan, who's he matched with? Popovich.
Pop.
It turns out Spolster might have been the best one out of all of them, and nobody thought he was going to hold that job.
That's funny. That's true.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, many people thought they got to get rid of this video intern who's going to be who's the head coach here
Right.
of the Miami Heat, and all they
And
did
now
was
Spo
continue to roll through.
Yeah, now Spo is like
Consensus best coach in the league.
yes, year in and year out.
It's pretty remarkable. 414-799-1973. People are waiting anxiously. I've seen the phone lines light up for it because they're saying you guys are past due. I need my pick as I roll over to Potawatomi Hotel Casino Sportsbook.
Coming from Ed in the 414.
Come on, Ed.
Guys, the new screen at the Potawatomi Sportsbook is better than any ride at Disney World. And
Apples
he
to
is
oranges.
not wrong. The rope has been cut, and hopefully you made your way down there to Canal Street and saw the new sportsbook down there at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. That screen that Ed was talking about, 2,000 square foot curved LED screen, doesn't get any bigger, doesn't get any better. And the seating, the stadium seating reminds you of a stadium atmosphere. It reminds you of being down there at Pfizer, reminds you of being right there in Lambeau and getting to see it all right there in front of your face. It's the biggest and best sports book outside of Vegas. If it was in Vegas, it'd be one of the biggest and best sports
I
books
agree.
in Vegas. That's how unbelievable this place is. You need to go down there and see it. Even if you don't like to gamble, even if you don't like to throw a couple bucks around, you can go down there. You can get a coon dog. You can sit right there on one of those soft couches, one of those soft lounge chairs, and watch your favorite teams play in some big time games. And it's an incredible atmosphere.
And plenty of tables there too. People
Mhm.
have tables eating and stuff like that. So it's something to see when you see it in person. I equate it to kind of being in a movie, almost like a movie theater, but it's curved. And even if you're sitting you know how in your movie theater, you don't want to sit in that first row because you don't want to crane your neck up. You can sit in the first couple rows and they have smaller TVs right in the front for you. So it's still a great
And
viewing.
they'd still be bigger than the ones at the MGM Sportsbook.
Absolutely, they are.
It's unreal.
And so it's a good viewing experience, no matter how you slice it. It's something special when you see it in person, guys. And the bar is nice and big there. You have everything you need there. Kiosk still
Well,
on the
listen,
side.
size does matter.
Yeah.
And this thing is pretty solid size. Massive, many people would say.
So
Apparently Julian Edelman would say the same thing.
it's something to see in person, no doubt about it. Make your way down there.
All right. Last Friday, picked the Cavs +4 for game 6. I knew the Cavs were going to win this series. Unfortunately, I thought they were going to do it in 6 games. They got this thing done in 7 yesterday out of another big day by Donovan Mitchell. And now that's a loss. Didn't finish the week as good as I had hoped there. I mean, I thought they were going to close it in 6. They ended up closing in 7. But tonight I got one for you. Indiana Pacers and the Knicks. And everybody's wondering, how are the Pacers going to slow down the Knicks? Vegas is wondering that. Potawatomi's wondering that. Indiana Pacers catching 6 here at Madison Square Garden tonight. I don't like it. I love it. I love taking +6 for the Indiana Pacers. Here's the deal. Jalen Brunson, how do you slow him down? Had about 40 points each of the last 4 games in their first series against 76ers. We watched the Pacers. I think the league is sleeping on the Pacers because they think they just beat the Bucks without Giannis. They just went out there and played an inferior opponent without Giannis. Well, they did, but they did it with some style, and they did it with some speed, and they did it guarding 96 feet of floor. And I think that's what they do to Jalen Brunson here tonight. I think they chase him around. I think they guard him early in the shot clock and on his half of the court. I love catching 6 points here. If the Indiana Pacers don't lay an egg 3-point shooting like they did game 1 against the Bucks, the Indiana Pacers are going to keep this thing close, getting 6 points. They might even win the damn thing outright.
I kind of like where you're going here. The thing is with the Pacers, as we saw, they can run and they can score in a lot of different ways. So I don't mind +6 at all for that pick, John. And I'd be honest with you, I think they're +210 on the series market. It's kind of intriguing to me if you want to look at the series market futures as well.
I think everybody has fallen in love with the Knicks, which the Knicks have been doing good things. And, you got the big Ragu up there, lighting it up from 3-point, and Jalen Brunson going for about 40 points a game. But this Indiana team, I think just as much as the Knicks have been getting love nationally, I think the Pacers haven't been getting the flowers that they're due. That's a fast defense. It's all about how they rebound against the Knicks, in my opinion. If they can rebound against the Knicks and limit second chance points, Pacers are going to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Pacers +6 tonight. Coons can't miss.
Can both teams lose?
Wouldn't you love that?
Damn.
Wouldn't you love that? Although my man John Starks, I'm a little happy for him. That's the one guy. Okay,
For John Starks,
don't know.
who retired 25 years ago?
I don't know why. He looks like he cares a lot. I'm going to make it clear right now. I'm not cheering for the Pacers, though. I'm not cheering for the Pacers. I can't do it. Tyrese and all those clowns. I'm not doing it.
Listen, you might not like the Pacers.
I don't.
You might not like the Knicks, but you got to hate the Celtics. I just can't stand
sure.
the fact that it feels like the Celtics are just going to cakewalk into this NBA Finals.
Well, it sure does look like the door is wide open for the Celtics.
Now, your
right
boy
now.
Donovan Mitchell's got something for him.
Yeah.
As long as
Dropping
they're at
that
home.
almost 40 piece. Almost 40
I
piece,
wanted to
39
tweet
yesterday.
Trey last night. And just be like, thought Mitchell wasn't a star. Thought he wasn't a star.
Yeah, they beat Orlando. I'm not going to sit around. I mean, they almost blew it, that series to Orlando. They finally took the lead in the third quarter. I said, finally, Cleveland's putting them away.
Paolo's coming, though, huh?
He's good, man. They have a good squad, but Cleveland's a different team on the road and at home. Definitely.
Just give it about 6 more months, and then the Windhorse Fingers will have Paolo going to
Yeah,
the
it's
Knicks
true.
or
Yes,
the
yeah.
Lakers, or they're going to get him out of Orlando real quick because he is sensational to watch.
Billy loves Paolo. Billy loves Paolo.
Dude, you
He's
watch
good.
somebody take somebody off the dribble like that, as physical as he can be.
He is a big Vancouver fan.
Who is going to beat the Celtics in the East, though, especially if Porzingis comes back? Now, that might be the one question with Kristaps' injury. But I don't know if I see, and they're -305 as the future for Eastern Conference winner.
Celtics will stop themselves, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, that's what we're hoping for.
Or they just lose in epic fashion again. I'm in that territory. Like for the Niners, it's fine. I can muddle through what happens the last number of years in the postseason, just because I know that they'll lose in grandiose fashion. Like they turned the lights off in the Superdome and still couldn't come back on the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
The fix was in, according to Ray Lewis, in that Super Bowl, and they still couldn't win it. They had the lead on Pat Mahomes how many times in the Super Bowl this year and couldn't do it. That makes it even better. I want Boston to be up 3-0 in the finals.
And then blow it.
And then blow it.
And the way they blew it to Miami was so epic last year. I mean, that was
so good.
Wasn't it?
So good.
Yeah.
Hopefully that can happen for all of us Bucks fans and all of our sanity. We'll get back into some Bucks and Giannis, who said he's willing to do anything to be on the floor. What does that mean to you? 414-799-1973, NicolaLaw.com, talking text line. It's 9 to noon on the game. 9 to noon on the game inside the Iron Jock Studios. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Back from a very interesting vacation. And guys, we had a message on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line from Nate in Racine. Said, did Billy already talk about the guy that got arrested on our flight last night? Weird stuff. Great show, boys.
What?
That was my reaction.
Wait,
so
you were there?
yeah, I mean, it was on our flight back last night.
I did not hear about this.
On Southwest. And I'll be completely honest with you, fellas.
I didn't think you could get arrested on Southwest. I thought you could do any damn thing you wanted to.
Well,
You could buy double seats on Southwest, Billy.
yeah. Oh,
Did
yeah.
you know about this?
A fat
Did
guy
you know-
knows that one. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Big guy
have
knows
you
that.
done that? Have you done that?
No, I have not. I just blow my nose and cough while people are walking down the aisle. So they're like, don't want to sit next to him. Definitely not that way.
Armin, you can get 2 seats for the price of 1 on Southwest. You buy 2 seats, and on the second seat, what do you put? Disney World or Mickey Mouse?
I didn't know
Or
that.
something like there's some sort of code you put in with the second one for your name. And then after the flight, you can send it back to Southwest after you take the flight and say, hey, this was my extra seat for me because I'm too big for the original seat.
I'll tell you what, they don't allow that.
Man, you're
on that
watching
flight Spirit.
TikTok a lot, huh? That's got to be like, it's like an only an Instagram Reels or a TikTok hack to learn that
It's
one.
a
I
hack.
love that.
It's a hack. It's
That's
a
awesome.
Southwest hack. That's why when you say somebody got arrested on this flight, that's unbelievable.
So we're walking off, and I don't know if he did something while on board, because I'll be completely honest with you, was not paying any attention.
Had to be drinking his own alcohol. He had to have got a bottle.
The only thing, right?
through- Yeah, through customs or what's it, duty free. Probably got a bottle through duty free, and he was pouring his own drink.
And we're walking off the tarmac, right? Pop out the stroller. I'm carrying the stroller, got the 2 bags. Little one's knocked out on the fiance's shoulder, so I'm trying to hulk everything through. Not, to my own horn, but pretty impressive. Not gonna lie. And all of a sudden, 2 cops are standing right at the end of the tarmac.
Did you get a little nervous?
100% I got
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
nervous.
Jeez,
yeah.
100% I just got a little bit nervous.
That's like
What did I
anytime
do?
you it's the same as driving down the highway. You see the cop, you slow down,
I know I'm
but
not
you
speeding.
still check the rear view about
Every
3
time.
times. Like, this guy's going to follow me. I know.
And then he pulls out. Doesn't turn the lights on,
Oh,
but
yeah.
just starts driving right
Oh,
behind
yeah.
you. Just drives for a little while.
And
Just
then it's
goes
like-
maybe 2 or 3 miles. Maybe buzzes really close up to you. You're saying, do I have my light out? Did my sticker fall off? Oh, no. So I got a little bit nervous of what the heck's about to happen here. And then I turn around and my man walks off, and they immediately put the palm into the back, cuff him, and walk him out in front of everybody else. Like, it was one of the crazier things that I'd seen. And it
You
was
have
kind of
no
fun.
idea
though.
Wow,
what he
that's
did.
wild.
I
You
had
have
no
no
idea. I had no idea. I was
I
worried
need
about
to
the
know,
little guy
what did
crying.
this man do?
Yeah, and that's where
Are we
Trust
sure
me.
there's no video on Twitter or anything?
there's
like
got to
that?
be something.
Tiffany Gomes out there.
It was not a that
Southwest-
son of a gun is not real kind of deal.
Southwest flight arrest. Let's see.
And just walking off in the thong sandals with a lot of cares in the world as he's walking in front of just about everybody. And the best part is all the people trying to figure out, did you see something? Did you see something?
Everyone's trying to figure.
Did
Everyone's
you know what
curious.
happened?
We're all curious.
So I just let out. That probably had some priors. And looked around like, what do you think? What? I don't know. A couple of warrants out for his arrest, maybe.
Oh yeah, and then he checks in down there in Orlando, and they're like,
Got him.
Got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
That's
We
a
know
good
where
point.
he's at.
He probably did nothing on the flight at all. He probably thought he was just cruising from Florida to Wisconsin. Oh no, they got you.
He was just enjoying the flower festival at Epcot, and he's saying, "Wait, what happened? Oh, those tickets got me. What the heck?"
That's wild. You know, I always wanted to see something
He
crazy
thought
happen
the
on a flight.
invoice
Nothing
coming out
happened.
of Disney was bad. Oh no, walking into the terminal at MKE. That'll get you.
I love this. Could have been smoking in the bathroom. Now, could have. That could have been a possibility for you. Are people really doing that?
That's why are people still
They
doing
always
this.
The
say
gummies
that.
these days, I can't imagine anybody's
No.
really trying to get that.
And it's
off.
too
Right.
obvious because you're right by the flight attendants.
I mean,
Those
or a
bathrooms-
Zyn. Like,
Yeah.
if you need a little bit of the nicotine hit, like, do you really need that? There's no way.
Especially, don't they know it's against FAA regulations?
Well, they
to
say it
smoke in a
enough times.
cabin? I just
They
don't
say it
understand.
enough times.
I mean,
I
that's clear,
did,
but the rules are clear.
it's pretty obvious.
The rules are obvious, guys. You know what I'm saying?
There's obviously not enough
No.
RAs and hall monitors on these flights.
Now, did they sell that seat again? That's what I want to know. Because if you're on Spirit or Frontier, they're finding a way to get someone button that seat. You just arrested somebody. We got an open seat. Let's try and get some money. All right, that's all I know. Because it's the opposite. You can't buy extra seats on those flights. When I fly Spirit, it's the opposite. If you're not uncomfortable enough, they charge you. You got to squeeze in. You got to make sure you're really tight in
See,
there.
and Josh just said he had an excellent experience on Spirit.
Oh, I love Spirit. It's a great experience because you know what you're getting. There's no pretense involved. They're not going to.
Yeah, but you're not getting a second seat for free.
No,
No, you're not getting
because you want
anything.
the extra room.
But that's what you know. You're flying Walmart in the air, and you're fine with it because you know.
but now officially, I think Costco in the air. Hey, Sun Country was unfamiliar with
People-
your game.
People like Sun
Sun
Country.
Country's legit.
People like
Dude,
Sun Country.
I was a huge fan of it. There was a little bit of TV that you were able to watch, a couple of movies that were still available. You still got a beverage, well, Caribou coffee. Yes, sign me up. Thank you very much, Sun Country.
Mhm.
Let's rock and roll.
So I looked up Southwest flight and arrest, and the one thing I did find was a lady brought a bald eagle as her personal support
Oh yeah.
animal on the plane.
You know what I gotta say? Of all the support animals, that would be one of the coolest ones to see. A bald eagle. How cool
How
would
does
that
how,
be?
how do you get on
That's
that
awesome.
level? How do you get on that level with a bald eagle that it's your support animal?
Maybe-
Yeah, that's a pretty unique relationship that you're able to cultivate.
I understand dogs, right? You can
Mhm.
lay in a bed and sleep with them, and they're all cuddly and stuff like that. Even cats, even though they're not as friendly, they'll come up every now and then, and they
Yeah.
always rub on the person that doesn't really like cats. And they kind of,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just to
Do
mess
all
with you. Yep.
how do you get close to a bald eagle? How does that take place?
Maybe it's just a true American.
Just catching a lot of freedom.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go, Armin. The eagle actually chose her.
Yeah.
She was so patriotic. The eagle had to pick her.
That's right.
She was definitely. She wasn't pulling any American flags down. She was flying a mile high.
burning them the right way as patriotic as possible, or maybe it was just the way to maybe pass the test. That's a fantastic idea.
Hey, bald eagle is one beautiful bird, and they know freedom when they see it. you
They know freedom,
Yeah.
catching freedom. If you were that investor on the Kentucky Derby, maybe you did one of those win bet show bets or place and show bets, one on all of them, and then the son of a gun finishes fourth. That was the weekend that some individuals potentially had investing on sports. this
Nobody
weekend.
had Mystic Dan. Nobody had Mystic Dan anywhere. I didn't hear one person. John, we did our predictions Friday. We weren't close to Mystic Dan, were we? We didn't have anything.
We didn't have Mystic Dan, but we did have the horse that called in that got second.
Yeah,
Armin,
yeah.
do you remember that?
It was
My-
Forever Young, right? Or no?
no, Forever Young was your
Th-
pick. Sierra
Sierra
Leone. That's who
Leone,
the
yeah.
two guys, my two degenerate
Well, they were
friends,
the-
Jar and Six Figure, told me both
That's right, Six
unanimously.
Figure did.
Sierra Leone. He's not the favorite, but Sierra Leone.
I
And
do
then he comes
remember
in
that.
second.
And I
Dang.
I picked Forever Young. That was a great finish to that race.
Wow, so we were second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, I know.
How about that?
Hey, and John, and the best part was John has a buddy named Six Figure who gives him horse tips.
Yeah, that's a great nickname.
He actually has a horse racing endorsing company, but I'm not allowed to say it on air. It's
Good.
actually illegal to do those types of things. But yeah.
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
he's deep into the game.
Dude,
Just
I
wait,
want
just wait to get
So
that
is
endorsement.
Jar too. I got two of them, Armin. I bounce their ideas off each other. And I see
the
which one
horse
floats.
game, the horse racing game is one that I want to get invested in. Like that is one
I know.
that I want to find a way to get invested in.
You know why? Because every time I walk into the book, those guys are having the most fun.
Way more
And
fun
those
than
guys
everybody
are
else.
those guys are locked in. It's all the old guys. They've got nothing but their coffee and their newspapers, and they're doing it.
I think
That's
we
what
should
wanna
buy
be.
a horse.
We'll call it seven
We
figure.
should buy a colt.
Let's do it. Call it seven.
7 figure.
I would love that.
Booked in.
I'll buy a horse.
The
Who's our
problem is
trainer?
the horse we can afford, the three of us, is going to be a mini horse. We're
Not
going
a
to have
horse.
to do mini horse races at carnivals somewhere,
It's a mule. It's not a horse.
somewhere in a redneck village near you.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
we're going to have to do.
How about this? Let's shoot a little lower. Let's buy one of the racing pigs for the state fair this year.
All right.
We
I'll
should
do
we
that.
should get one of them. We
Can
should
you-
buy one.
can
I
you
don't think
own
you
one?
can.
Now,
I
here's
don't
the-
think you can,
But
but
I
we
don't
should.
know anything about these pigs. Are they? Do big ones run fast, or do we need a small pig,
I
like
think
a guinea pig?
Let's
I
do our
think the
research.
bigger ones have they got longer legs. So I mean they're churning through that pig race at the state fair. Damn, that might be our way of going.
We need to find something. We need to get a pool of money together and buy some sort of
I'm gonna buy a
Racing
racing
animal.
animal. Yes. And because like Giannis said, you gotta walk before you can jog, and then you can run. So we gotta start ourselves a little lower and then get ourselves into a Kentucky Derby, maybe by like 168, right? I mean, we're gonna be real close to that 169th running of the Kentucky Derby for us to be in there.
How to train your show pig to run faster. Hold on.
Don't look that up on the company Wi-Fi. That's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. John Coons right there. We round third, head for home. It's 9 to noon on the game. Round and third, heading for home, and I am the worst possible coworker you could have. 414-799-1973.
I wouldn't
John,
say that.
I broke Armin's headphones. Literally right as we're getting on here, he pulls them apart. The one ear yanks completely off after I just dumped him onto the floor. What was that, 4 minutes ago?
Yeah,
Well,
they're fine.
So
They're
this
fine.
is how
my
I know.
God.
This is how I know you're not the worst coworker ever, because you feel bad and you're saying that. Had I broken Armin's headphones, I would have blamed it on Josh. That makes me the worst ever, or Josh, because Josh steals them and uses Armin's headphones all the time. One of the
Say yes.
somewhere along the lines of Josh, Billy, and me, worst ever. I say Billy, you feel bad because you broke them. I would have blamed it on Josh because he uses them all the time.
There's a twist.
That's genius.
There's actually a twist in this. You also don't forget this. You pay it forward. Young Nick Bruzewitz, Armin. Can I borrow your headphones today? I forgot my headphones.
Yeah, you can. Hey, don't say anything. Just give it to him. When he breaks them, then he
That's it.
buys them.
Whoa,
Boom,
what
let's
happened?
go.
I think they were
Then
like
Armin could be the worst coworker.
And that's good
ever.
because we know he never listens. So
Gosh.
there's no way Nick heard any of that.
that. As soon as I hand them to him, they all break apart. What'd you do?
Dude, what are you doing? You come in here one day and you're busting everything up?
No, they're good. They snap right back in, you know?
Just wait till he moves that microphone and the whole thing comes off.
Oh.
Then he's really going to be feeling bad.
Then he'll finally be indoctrinated into this situation. No, we're good. We're taped up here.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what,
You
yeah.
see the job John the engineer did on this baby. We're all set to go.
hey, duct tape goes a long way. You would think that a studio to do radio takes a lot of really important pieces of equipment. Really, duct tape. I mean,
Yeah.
John fixes everything with duct tape. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he now has finally found himself an Iron Jack sweatshirt.
Let's go.
He deserved
He's
one
got
for a
one.
long time. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
because you
so
are,
now, okay, so that's the official uniform of 97 through the game.
that means
so
he's
now
in.
we can officially say he's on the team.
Yeah, when
Yep.
you know when you get your press conference and they put the jersey on.
Put the
You
jersey on
put
him.
the Iron Jack sweatshirt on. You know, you're part of the group. There
So
you go.
he was previously Roger Stona, and now he's one of the draft picks.
Oh, I know that reference. Yes.
See?
Yes. Isn't
Damn.
that
Billy?
I don't know.
that's the
Did I lose
The
here?
discus guy,
The
the
di-
discus thrower that
Yeah.
the Packers brought into rookie minicamp.
Son of a mother duck.
Billy, you missed this. We brought in a
What?
discus thrower, a U23 national champion discus
Oh,
thrower from Jamaica.
he's a monster. Looks like a
6'6",
monster.
270, runs a 4.69. He does look like a monster. Never played competitive football
doesn't matter.
in America, but we brought him in here to do rookie minicamp.
I love
That's what I'm
that.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
all possibilities for this.
I was praying that I would find word today during the show that he got a contract offered to him, but unfortunately, it doesn't sound like that took place.
You never know. He's on
Holy
the radar.
cow.
He's on the radar. He looks like an Adonis. The last
runs a
discus.
little funky.
Think
but
of another discus thrower turned football player, Mr. Christian Okoye. Don't forget. So maybe he's next. Maybe he's the next Christian
dude,
Okoye.
this dude's traps
Yeah.
are unreal.
He's unreal. The guy's a monster, you
Mhm.
know? So
Yeah, we gotta find a way to get this guy on the team.
Can find a position. I don't know what he can throw on. I mean, you're not throwing a football. Obviously, we got Jordan Love, but what can we get him to throw? Because he's a monster.
Yeah, we could do Charles Martin style, like rip off someone's
210
helmet and throw it.
D lineman. That's what they're trying to try him out as a D
Well, I'm
lineman.
sure. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
276, 200,
Well, it's the
210 feet roughly was his discus.
You threw John in track, or you did field, right?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah, I
110.
did. I ran a little and then I threw. His was 69 meters. That's roughly 210 feet. My best discus was about 180, 185.
My
So he smashes me. I mean, I'm not even close to what he throws.
My man is also beyond yoked. I mean, you want to talk about a massive human being. That's a great call.
He's a
Yeah,
sculpture.
he looks good. He
Yeah.
looks good.
Get off the bus guy. Gotta have him.
Right.
You know what? For intimidation factor, might be worth keeping around for a while.
Yeah, gotta have a
The
couple
only
of them.
problem is we only got 90 spots to keep around.
Yeah, that's where the NFL still needs to adopt the college. Fit as many guys on your roster as you can on this sideline.
But don't
Even if you're pulling backup goalies like they have of reserve guys in the NHL, just bring a bunch of get off the bus
Well,
guys.
and a lot of NFL players look like that. I mean, they're not going to be intimidated by this guy. I mean, we would be, but aren't NFL players used to other guys looking huge and stuff like that? Are they really intimidated by that? I don't know.
There's not a whole lot of guys that a lot of NFL players go, oh, that guy's way bigger than me. but there are some, and that guy might be one of them. That guy might be one of them.
And I never understood, discus throwers. Don't they get dizzy? They're spinning around and stuff like that.
It's
quick-
fun. Super fun.
It looks fun, actually, but I guess you only have to
And
do
there
it
is
once.
Glad
yeah,
that for that one thing.
And I
Yeah.
could only do the slide. I wasn't coordinated enough with the shot put to be able to do the spin, so I could only do the kick slide and shot put. That limited me
Oh,
a
yeah.
massive amount.
Yeah. Did you do the grunt when he threw it?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
couldn't.
yeah, the best grunts. Yeah, you throw out a good grunt, man, you get everybody's attention.
Oh, he's for real. He's a real
He's
guy.
a serious
He
one
knows
right
how
there.
to throw because he grunts.
They got two good guys. You should have heard them warming up.
Hey,
those are-
district champ.
Hey, there we go.
Both shot and discus. Couldn't do anything at states, though, man. That was tough.
But you were right there. You were there though.
In the mix.
You're in the mix.
Pennsylvania did an 8th-place podium too. I couldn't get on the podium for states.
That was a big
embarrassing.
state. It's a big state.
Damn. 8 people and you couldn't get up there.
I couldn't get 8.
Oh, come
Damn.
on.
I got 9.
Okay. Well, all right. Sorry. Armin, 8 people on the podium. We would have thought John Kuhn would have been up there.
Can we throw this out there for Eric and Waukesha?
Yeah, we'll
though?
make this the take of the
when
day.
we
yeah.
decide if we're buying a thoroughbred, a mini horse, or a pig,
Mm-hmm.
we're naming them Nooner.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, of
That was
course.
guaranteed.
That's an
Yep.
obvious one. Yeah.
Yep. Nooner is going to be racing at a track near you. Just depends on what type of track and how the gambling regulations will be run with that. That's our Quick Trip take of the day, brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Do not cook. Stop by your local Quick Trip. Pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. Armin, you might even find. And what we know is buying a horse is going to be a great investment for all of us here on 9 to noon and probably bring you even better show content. On the other side of this timeout, talk about great show content. Our guy Mike Heller is going to step into the batter's box. He is well rested, rejuvenated off a vacation, and he loves Mondays. You're not going to want to miss that. For John Kuhn, Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmid. Fellas, banger of a Monday. We're going to back it up tomorrow and try to be better on Tuesday. It's 9 to noon on the game.